Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another episode on this Tuesday edition of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about massive leaks from Insomniac Games internally being doxxed and whatnot. We're going to talk about Sony. Sony signs deal with Marvel to make exclusive X-Men games until 2035. Insomniac cybersecurity attack reveals more on that. We're going to talk about Sony really is concerned about Microsoft's Xbox strategy following the Activision Blizzard buyout because of the leak that happened with Activision, or I'm sorry, with Insomniac. And then we're going to talk about or watch a video of the top 30 best games of 2023. There was other content that I didn't want to cover, and that was the Suicide Squad, because there's more of like the Insomniac stuff is news because it's hacks and whatnot, and there's documents and showing up the future, but there's no like spoilers of like video games as far as like the story plots and stuff go, and I don't want to do that to anybody. So we're not going to cover the Suicide Squads because there's leaks out there. I don't even know all of them. The one I do know, it's in the title, so I don't know what people are upset about, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But other than that, we're not going to cover the Suicide Squad. I would appreciate if no one else kind of spoils anything about the Suicide Squad, because the game comes out in like 2 months. I don't want anyone that's hyped for it to get ruined by the actual leaks. If they see it, they see it, but let's not be a part of that as far as spoiling people's hype for a video game. All right. The reason we're covering the Insomniac one is because it's in the industry business. It's the business of the industry. It's just like everyone talks about Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. So this is what happens, you know, and we'll break it down. So that's what's on the docket for this morning. If you like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button, hit the share button, or subscribe button, I should say. Share if you like it. And also, if you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Travis? This is quick, man. We need to come up with a video game, with an amazing game that tells you what to expect so people can get mad when they give them exactly what we promised. Travis also says, anyone who is also complaining about what's wrong with gaming today, people who whine are for the sake of whining. What's going on, Rose? There's only two things in this world I can't stand: people whining and just whining. And the Dutch, if you know that. The Dutch? What did the Dutch do to you? What's going on, Quest? The leaks have me on the hard pass again for Suicide Squads. I don't like the story or what they're doing with the certain characters. Yeah, the most I can say, bro, is I'm going to take that part of the certain characters. I mean, it's in the title. And something that happened in real life shouldn't affect what they're doing for a story which was made way before the events happened in real life. Right? If you know what I mean. I'm trying to be very vague in what people are upset about. Lower that just a little bit. All right, so let's bring up the first topic. This came out on the 14th, right? And when stuff leaks like this, one, I wasn't streaming. It came out on the 14th. Today is the 19th. So we just didn't cover it when it came out, but now it all kind of makes sense, right? This was all hearsay until it wasn't hearsay, and now there's actual leaked documents, right? So, massive hack at Insomniac Games leads to blackmail, doxing, and game leaks. Now, I don't condone this in any way, shape, or form. The doxing, I hate when people do this shit. I hate when people do the swatting and stuff like that. It's just, it's because the internet is so anonymous, and you know, people can just do what they want without being punished by it, right? I hope anyone that doxes anyone or swats anyone gets the full extent of the law pushed against them if they get caught. So, all right. So, some news will probably not come as a shock, and Sony has been hacked again. Well, one of the long-term Sony developers have been hacked at least, and it's not looking good. Not that it ever does. Now, Insomniac Games leaks This time, a ransomware attack resulted in security breach, okay, at the Marvel Spider-Man 2 studio, where tons of personal information on employees, like passports and other official documents, like that even Spider-Man voice actor Yori's information, was stolen. One of the more interesting things is that they stole the security breach was a concept art of the Wolverine game, so something looked forward to when it's inevitably leaked. Now, the attack was allegedly done by Rosita, a ransomware operator who was threatening to auction off the stolen data next week. They said, open your wallets and be ready to buy exclusive data. And then the group wrote, quote, we'll sell only one hand, reselling it. You will also be the only owner. So they're saying if you buy it, the prices go up because you're going to be the only person that has it. Sure, in a digital world. Thankfully, nothing too bad has come of this as of yet, but Sony are pros at dealing with hacks at this point, not preventing them. In any email that was sent to the game developer, Sony wrote that it was also security investigating a situation. We have no reason to believe that any of our Sony Entertainment or Sony divisions have been impacted. So, bluff called, I guess, right? Bluff called, because here we are. Insomniac hacker leaks a full Wolverine PlayStation 5 gameplay in major company expose. Now, or expose. I'm not going to show you any kind of... Actually, real quick, let me just make sure there's nothing in this that you can see that we haven't seen already. Okay. So let's just... So Insomniac hacker leaks full Wolverine PlayStation 5 gameplay. Okay. Insomniac Games just has been a victim of a massive leak. Okay, and Sony Entertainment came out and said to you straight to your face, we don't believe anyone has done anything like that to us. So, and here we are. The plot details of the next big project Wolverine being shared online. The devs have found themselves in a resurgence after finding massive success with the recent Spider-Man games. Set to follow this year's Spider-Man 2, we knew that Wolverine project was in the works. However, beyond a brief teaser trailer, not much has been revealed or shown about the upcoming game. Now, that's until a new leak surfaced online on December 18th via a ransomware group trying to extort money from Insomniac. Okay, Cyber Daily via IGN reported comments from the group recalled that, which said, yes, we knew who we were attacking and we knew that developers were making games like this and would be easy target. We were able to get the domain administrator within 20 to 25 minutes of hacking the network, and the group was also confirmed that they also solely concerned about the financial gain. The leak included a 1.5 terabytes of information, including incomplete gameplay footage, details about the story, characters, and voice cast, as well as omit documents about Insomniac and employees. Okay. So, let me see if this is... I don't think I need to read the rest of this. I don't want to ruin anything about any kind of details for the game. Just know that Wolverine is, they have information on it. Okay. Another part of this, let me see if this is, okay. So this part is timeline of future Insomniac games released leaked. Okay. And we can see this based on this data. Second. And if you're watching this live, we do this live, we go through the stuff like this, and then you'll see this after the fact, a little bit more concise of what we're doing here. So let me bring up the IGN. Where did I put the Twitter link? I could have sworn I put it in here. Did I put it in the wrong place? Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that real fast. So there was a whole leak, whole list of stuff. But we'll do it this way anyway. 1 second. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Track down who? A group of Russians in North Korea? Well, they're not all from Russia and North Korea, Paul. You know what I'm saying? There's people that do doxing and stuff like that in the States, and whoever it is across wherever, right? The person that did the Grand Theft Auto leak got, not sentenced, but in court and whatnot. Anybody that does that type of stuff, especially swatting. What's going on, Intervoid? Let's see. Of course, now I can't find the from this morning. Twitter moves so fast. It's like exactly what our attention spans are. Like you're talking about something and then people forget about it within minutes because it just scrolls up. Is that it? No, not Sassy. Sony has so many leaks, they need to start wearing adult diapers. Some of this stuff they have should be stored in a closed network. Yeah, I don't understand. How many times can someone get hacked before they take precautions to not get hacked anymore? You know what I mean? This is not Sony, though. This is Insomniac. Yes, Sony owns the devs, but they have their own database. Yeah, but Sony literally came out and said they weren't hacked, but they were. It was internal, right? But they're like, we don't believe that we were hacked, and yet they were hacked. Okay, here it is. Get a whole thread here. Okay. All right, so not saying this is official or anything. Obviously, it's Twitter. Take it with a grain of salt, but we're using this just to have talking points and whatnot. So it says scheduled projects. Okay, scheduled projects. Insomniac Games Outlook. It says Wolverine in fiscal year of 2025, potential postponed in fiscal year of 2026. So they announced Wolverine, what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. And now we're talking 2025, 2026. So they were already working on it for 2 years. So it'll be in development for like 4 or 5 years, right? Then we have Venom in fiscal year 2025. There was also a video I had where I talked about the next game probably coming out is Venom. And then I said it would probably be a Spider-Man Miles Morales, right, type of game, which here it says Wolverine, then it says Venom fiscal year 2025, then it says Spider-Man 3 in fiscal year 2028. It says new Ratchet and Clank in fiscal year 2029, and then there's an X-Men game in fiscal year 2030. Now, we were speculated that there is an X-Men game coming. We talked about this over a year or maybe even 2 years ago, talking about that. It says the X-Men exclusivity, release all games by 2035, sell through at least to 2038 and later, and if Marvel allows it to continue. It says termination if games do not sell through at least 6 million units on PlayStation 5 / PC combined of one of 3 major titles in the first year after PlayStation 5 release. Okay. It goes on to say Insomniac Games Marvel's Wolverine single-player fiscal year 2025. The main story is 8 hours, anticipates next X-Men game, like leading up to the X-Men game. Other characters, I won't even read that. You know, that's what it is. And it says multiplayer in fiscal year 2026, right? So there's going to be some sort of, speculation of what it's going to be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I feel bad not only for Insomniac Games, because not just the information's not. I feel bad for Insomniac Games. I said this in Discord earlier this morning. I feel like Insomniac Games is being like a workhorse, right? It's one of the companies that it's literally pulling Sony along. It's the strongest company right now, hands down, at Sony Studios, right? Over God of War developers, over Guerrilla developers. Insomniac is making hit after hit after hit, right? They're putting Sony on their shoulders right now, on their back, and they're getting pushed. So awesome that they're making these games, right? Awesome that they're making Wolverine and Venom and Spider-Man 3 and Ratchet and Clank and the X-Men game and whatnot, right? they're an awesome studio. But I feel like it almost feels like because they're just working on Marvel games, besides Ratchet and Clank, right? Because you got Wolverine, you got Spider-Man 3, you got Venom, and then you got X-Men. Okay, that's 4 games of the 5 games that got leaked, that they're all Marvel games, right? And I feel bad for them because I feel like, what's the difference? If, yes, they're different games, but they're all in the Marvel universe. And I'm assuming they're all connected because that's what they want them to do, right? The Wolverine game is going to lead into the X-Men game, which also might cross over with the Spider-Man game and whatnot, right? And I feel like this is like a live service game, but they're single-player games. Hear me out for just a second, right? I know they're not exactly the same as Bungie working on Destiny, okay? But it feels like Insomniac is being pushed. They're like, this is what you do, and this is what you're going to keep doing, right? They don't get to kind of do anything else but work in that realm of the Marvel franchise. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that me and Krebsy have had a conversation for over 2 years now, saying that they make the Marvel gaming universe, right? We go back and forth. I think he had a different name. I said MGU. And I said, they should Marvel, not Sony, not Insomniac, not just Marvel in general should make as many Marvel games across the board, okay? And make it a Marvel gaming universe, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm not talking about the graphics have to be the same or the stories linked together or anything like that. I'm talking about the voice actors, sort of like what James Gunn talked about the DC universe and the video games and whatnot, that they want to use the same actors in the movies as the people in the video games, the voice actors and stuff like that, okay? I kind of like that idea that they have. So you don't have to link all the stories together, but you should link, like, for instance, Nolan North is Superman in Suicide Squad, right? So if they bring Superman's voice in another game, Nolan North should do Superman, so it links it together, okay? So in this world, okay, if they make an Iron Man game, that Iron Man should be the same Iron Man that was an appearance in the other Iron Man game, right? And because Marvel, everyone has to go through Marvel to make the okay for this, Marvel should put stipulation of, well, if you're going to do this, you have to use this actor for this, right? Now, I know logistically it's going to be a freaking nightmare, but that's what's happening with Insomniac Games, right? They're constantly working on this Marvel brand, and going forward, that's all they're doing. And if it fails, right? If Insomniac fails, or one of these games that kind of hurts them, they don't sell as many as the things, they lose, right? It says if it fails, termination if games do not sell, right? This is a stipulation from Marvel. Okay, termination if games do not sell through at least 6 million units on PlayStation 5/PC combined for one of the 3 major titles in the first year after the PlayStation 5 release. Okay, so that's very interesting. And hopefully, you know, these games are successful. I mean, you would hope that PlayStation, because they sell, right? And we have some leaked data for some of the games, first-party titles on PC, okay? And this is why we're bringing it up here. PlayStation games sell on Steam as per leaked documents, okay? It says God of War, 2.5 million. Horizon Zero Dawn, 3.3 million. Days Gone, 1.7 million. Spider-Man Remastered, 1.3 million. Uncharted Lost Legacy, 483,000. Spider-Man Miles Morales, 450. That also connects to my other video. Okay, maybe I'll link that up in the description down below if you're watching this later, or up in the video somewhere over here. Okay, where I made a video of Spider-Man Miles Morales is a bad decision to move forward because he doesn't sell as well as Spider-Man. And then you can tell right there, Spider-Man Remastered just on PC made 1.3, and yet Spider-Man Miles Morales only made 450,000, which is literally 1/3. Like I said in my prediction, it's like I had these documents ahead of time. Okay, and then Sackboy 62.9 thousand. Okay, so there's a lot of problems if going forward after it releases on PlayStation, if it doesn't make the sales, it continues the sales for those certain things, it's not going to do very good, right? So, one, I'm glad that Insomniac is doing the Marvel games because I think Insomniac games are fantastic. I love the Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man Miles Morales. I haven't played Spider-Man 2 yet, but I'm concerned that Insomniac is literally, they're not Insomniac themselves, but Sony making Insomniac go, hey, you like Marvel? You're going to be working on Marvel for the next 10 to 15 years. Okay. Because obviously they have a deal up until 2035 to get these games and continuous, right? And that's what I don't. I mean, I guess Ratchet and Clank is a change of pace. Yeah, Paul says a one-trick pony. Like, they gotta beat that thing dead until they get all of it out of it. And I would hate to see Insomniac get burnt out, right, in the next 10 years, just working their asses off just on these games. Because Venom is just going to be like what Miles Morales was to Spider-Man. It's going to be a standalone game. Maybe it's a DLC. Maybe it's something along a smaller type of game, but it's going to take place in that universe. Okay, and then you have Wolverine that also moves into X-Men, which is this. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, I hope that they don't get burnt out. I hope it works out for them in the long run, and Insomniac still makes these awesome Marvel games. I'm a huge Marvel guy. I want to see Marvel games, but I don't want to see one studio get burnt out. And this is why I said years ago that I would like to see them make the Marvel gaming universe and get EA and get Massive in and get all these different developers. Like Marvel's made with Star Wars. At Star Wars, they opened it up. Disney's like, anyone that wants to make a Star Wars game, go ahead and make a Star Wars game. I would like to see Marvel do the exact same thing, but link them together with just the voice actors. Which you can have different art styles, you can have different things, but just the voice actors connected, in my opinion. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about the Insomniac situation as far as the doxing and the leaks going on? Is this good? Is this bad? You're like, oh, I'm excited to see what's happening, or this is terrible. Obviously, the doxing is absolutely terrible about information about the actual employees and devs and stuff like that. But I'm talking about, what do you think about all these games coming out from Insomniac in the next 10 years? Are you excited about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in chat here. Go on, Kylo. Go on, Travis. Big Mo. Rose, Kylo, Paul, Sarge. Who am I missing? Missing anybody? The dude, what's going on? Good morning. If I missed you, good morning to you. Mo says they're scared. Water, good morning. Says the first party devs who sells, but they still have other party devs that sell more. Packers on fire. Oh, well. Let's see. Of course, they're crying on fire. This is a primary Xbox chat. Good point. I don't understand how this is a primarily Xbox chat. I mean, you're more than welcome to go somewhere else if you don't like the chat. I'd like to know if the Xbox employees hacked Sony. Not saying they did. They didn't, but I want to know if it was a cause I can't find. I doubt it's them. Xbox needs, he says, Big Mo, Xbox needs exclusives, but they're late to the party. Guess they're on fire. Dave Rose says, I like personally they keep them separated. I don't want crossover. I like that they're each their own unique world with maybe crossover here or there. Well, they're not. They're all connected. All the Spider-Man games are connected. Wolverine's probably going to get connected, and Spider-Man will probably make an appearance inside of either Wolverine or X-Men games, I would assume. These games are making 100 million for 4 to 5 years of work. It's nuts. Sarge says 6 million is a bare minimum number they're given to all these chances in the world. 6 million between the PlayStation and PC would be easy for a superhero game. This opens up my eyes a little bit, Sarge, because of what the document, what's potentially what's it called? Where they're saying 6 million units. And Marvel's Avengers sold 3.6. It probably only sold like 4.85 million after the fact, after everyone bought after the discount or whatnot. So we know Marvel's numbers, like with this IP, they had that Disney tax, they had that Marvel tax, that a normal game selling 3 million would be successful, Final Fantasy, right? Even though it was a dismal outing for them told by the company. They said they were disappointed in it. But 3 million would be normal. But because it's Disney, because it's Marvel, they upped that to 6 million copies sold. So it'll be interesting knowing going forward, if it's a Marvel, it has to sell a minimum of 6 million. It doesn't matter who's selling it. It doesn't matter if it's Sony or Xbox. Like Blade has to sell 6 million units or make as enough money as 6 million units, I would assume. The dude says Xbox Year in Review says that my best achievement was only unlocked by 0.19% of players. Anyone got that beat? That's a low percentage. When Paul is saying a one-trick pony, Rose, because you're saying not true, they have Ratchet, Sunset Overdrive. The majority of their games is Marvel. That's the contract they have. And it's one studio making, right? Because they have Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, X-Men, Venom, Spider-Man 3. You know what I mean? Like, they're making a lot of games, and they have Ratchet and Clank 2, or Rift Apart, and then they're making, like, they have their old catalog, but their last games in the last 7 years, and then going into the next 10. So for 17 years, they're making what? Eight Marvel games and 2 Ratchet and Clanks. And that is true, Paul. Ratchet and Clank lost them money. No, it actually did. It actually lost them money, Rose. It doesn't matter, in your opinion, if it's a good game or not. It lost them money. It didn't sell very well. Paul Gaming says, High Five Rush Xbox won more awards than any other PlayStation game in the TGAs. They're not a one-trick pony. They're a master of one. But the problem is, Travis, that regardless if... I mean, Destiny's a live service game, right? But it's Destiny 2, and every expansion they come out with is a different game within the gaming universe. They're coming out with Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Venom, Spider-Man 3. They're all in the same universe. There's no difference between what that game is doing by adding and continuing the story and telling the story of Spider-Man in that universe, and then a live service game continuously making games over the years, right? One's continuous, and one takes a break in between and then adds it to the universe. It's one studio working on one game for 5 to 7 to 8 years. Is this, I can't verify this information because I don't know where the source is, but it says Ratchet and Clank Apart, or Rift Apart, sold just 2.2 million units, lost 8 million for Sony on an $81 million budget. I don't know. I'm going to take it as face value, not if it's official or anything. I'm trying to look up an actual source. That's real information? Okay. I just don't have a source. You know what I'm saying? It's through like a forum type of thing. I want a linked article and their gaming bolt. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sold 2.2 million units, occurring in an $8 million loss. There you go. There you go. So Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sold 2.2 million units, incurred a $8 million loss. Okay. Insomniac Games has enjoyed incredible critical commercial success with Marvel Spider-Man games in recent years, and through 2021's Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart did enjoy similar criticisms and acclaim. It seems that the action platform has failed to make an equal impact in its commercial performance. Now, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that I'm not talking shit. I don't talk shit about anything unless there's actual proof, right? And I'm just reading the news, okay? This happens all the time in the movie industry, okay? Movies come out, studios make 10 movies a year, one movie makes $1 billion, two movies barely break even, and the rest of them lose money, okay? Just put that in perspective, okay? So that's as per recently leaked internal Insomniac documents that have emerged online following a ransom attack on the studio. As per leak, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which confirmed to have sold 1.1 million units as of July of 2021, has sold over 2.2 million units worldwide, though those sales have been unable to turn a profit. In fact, Rift Apart incurred a loss of $8 million as per the leaked details, with a total budget of $81 million and total revenue of $73 million. Now, I'm assuming they've lost more than that because of advertisement and marketing and stuff like that, right? Thankfully for fans in the franchise, details emerged from Insomniac ransom leak that have also revealed that the new Ratchet & Clank game is in development. So apparently it's good enough to make. It's a loss leader maybe because people are excited. It gets people into the system. Rift Apart underperformance has disastrous impacts on the franchise. The same leak also revealed plans for Marvel's Venom, Marvel Spider-Man 3, Marvel's Wolverine, Marvel's X-Men, and a new IP. Meanwhile, details have also leaked on the budget of the sales of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and revealed that Marvel Spider-Man 2 had a total budget of $315 million. Jesus. Jesus, that's an expensive game. That's an expensive game. See, I like how people think that this is... Oh, you know what? I'm not going to say people. I'm going to call you straight out to your face. I like how Travis says this is an Xbox chat. When we say facts about something, people just think we're talking shit, right? This is not an Xbox channel. This is not a PlayStation channel. This is not a Nintendo channel. This is a fucking gaming channel. We talk about games. If you don't like the information and the facts that come out about certain things, I don't know what to tell you. How can they sell 2.2 million for $70 and only make 73 million? Last I checked, 2.2 times 70 is 154. It's called marketing. They don't tell you the actual what marketing went into it, Krebsy. Right? They're just telling you what the budget cost of the actual game, not what the budget cost with the marketing material and everything else they put into it. I like this stat here, right? Because people in my video of Spider-Man Miles Morales that I said that Miles Morales moving forward is a bad decision by Sony and Insomniac Games, not because people want to say, well, it's because you're racist, it's because he's black. I said, no, because he doesn't sell as well. He sells 1/3 less than Spider-Man game, okay? Now, moving forward, okay, I mean, you can see it. Spider-Man Remastered made 1.3 on PC, and Miles Morales made 450,000. Okay. Another fact. I can't believe that Spider-Man 2 cost $315 million. That's $100 million more than The Last of Us 2 and Horizon. That's crazy. Well, Paul, yeah, it cost less because it was just a DLC that they turned into a full-fledged game. That's why it cost them less. Most of the assets were already there. Mr. 7 Digit says, I mean, Sony's on fire. What part of the year of 2023 says otherwise? Yeah, it's not it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. All that Insomniac stuff says is they're doing fine, as all of those games will sell amazing. Are you listening to the information that I've said this morning, Travis? They said they have to sell 6 million copies or whatever after it comes out on PlayStation 5, right? Like that's what the document said. It has to sell after the release of PlayStation 5. They would like it to sell 6 million copies. They're not even coming close on PC. Not even coming close on PC. Would marketing costs matter here? The $73 million revenue and the $154 million would also be revenue. It's the same as movie theaters, Rebsy. When you look at a budget of a movie and it says the budget is $300 million, right? Marketing is double that, basically. Okay, so you times it by 2. So if a movie costs $300 million, it costs them almost $550 to $600 million. Meaning to break even, they have to make over $600 million to then make $1. Right? That's the exact same thing with video games. So the budget for the video game, if it was $315 million, and let's just say it was another $100 million, $200 million to put into the marketing, that would be on top of the already cost of it. It's not winning a fake award doesn't mean shit about the quality of the game. Stop with the moving of the goalpost, Rose. Right? And I'm not saying you specifically, but as a PlayStation person, when your games win, you scream from the hilltops, and then when something doesn't win, you're like, "Well, those awards don't mean anything." Well, which one is it? Is it cool because it won an award, or is it not cool because they won a fake award? Hogwarts was great, but didn't even get a single nod. Oh, I agree. I'm on the stance of the video game awards don't mean fucking shit anyway, right? But it's funny to me that people are like, oh, well, they won an award and it's the greatest game ever. But if it doesn't win an award, it's like, well, those awards don't matter. Well, which one is it? The channel's an Xbox-friendly channel. It's also a PlayStation-friendly channel. We talk about news of the topics. Today happens to be a PlayStation story. Majority. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. But you couldn't have said it better. That's why the dude had to say it better than you, because you can't voice your opinion like that. Also, I think they don't have a choice in the matter of day and date. It's either Iron Galaxy or Who Are Terrible or Nixus or Who's Just One Studio. But I like how you worded it, dude. You're like, well, this is an Xbox. Why is it labeled an Xbox friendly channel? You mean people not talking shit about something just randomly on like other channels? I mean, come on. Like, all we're doing is saying the actual news. And people are like, well, this game's selling well. Article says they lost money. No, it didn't. Which one is it? I don't understand. What news is real to you people? One that's said or not said? The headcanon that's in your own brain, or actual stuff that's coming out? I wonder how far we have to go back to find Game Awards with integrity. They've never had integrity. The Video Game Awards, Keeley's Video Game Awards have never had integrity. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Game Pass makes more money in 4 months than Insomniac Games in 10 years. It will sink in. I mean, I've been saying this for years, Paul. On my channel, I said what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass. Everyone looks at it, says Game Pass is a failure and whatnot. And I'm like, you guys understand that they're making $400 million. We broke it down months ago, like earlier this year, right? 400 between the PC gamers at the 25 million. At the set rate of what we last heard was 25 million. Majority of the population that has Game Pass was on PC paying the higher rate. Okay, and total between that, they make $400 million a month. Now, obviously, that's not revenue because they have to pay and whatever else, but they bring in $400 million a month. They bring in like $4 billion, $4.8 billion a year. Okay, and people don't want to hear that. They're like, no, it's not working. It's like, I don't understand. The one thing I love about numbers is numbers don't lie. If they don't tell you a number, okay, they can lie. But if they give you a number, you can figure it out. Well, Prosy, I try to ride the fence, right? I'm not going to, I speak my thoughts and information based on the information I'm reading, okay? Based on the information. And I explain how I'm coming up with my reasoning and where I get it from, right? I tell people about reading between the lines of certain things, right? I don't want to say something's true. I'll say my thoughts, right? If it's true, I'll be like, well, here it is, right? Krebsy says, what I'm getting at is 73 million in revenue. Is 2.2 million copies sold at $70. Marketing costs would matter if profit was just being talked about. But even then, 2.2 million times 70 doesn't equal 73 million. It's 154. That's you're talking though if 2.2 million sold at full price, right? At full price. We don't know if that number includes all Ratchet and Clanks at full price. Numbers don't lie, right? And you're doing the math correct, but we don't know what's sold. We don't know the numbers of, like, if something sells 5 million copies, but the first sell at full price at 2 million, and then 500,000 sell at the $100 value, and then the rest of them sell after the fact when they're on sale for $20. We don't know. Substantial numbers don't lie. Just saying, here's the numbers, but they could be right, could be wrong, doesn't mean shit. Not saying you did that, just making a point. If they tell you a number, right? Like the numbers literally came out for Game Pass that they had 25 million 2 years ago in the beginning of the year in January of 2022, right? 25 million. There was an article 8 months later that told you the breakdown of actual people, of the 25 million, how many people were on PC, how many people were on the regular Game Pass and whatnot. Those are actual numbers, actual players, and they actually make 400 million based off the 25 million from 2 years ago that we know. The actual numbers they're telling you right there, right? Krebsy is arguing or bringing up a fact that if they sold, okay, 2.2 million copies at $70, marketing costs would matter if profit was being talked about, right? But they're saying, but we don't know the 2.2 million sold at $70. They didn't give us that number. They just told you that 2.2 million, but they told you the final cost. They lost 8 million. So now you have to mathematically find out what X is, right? How fast did Ratchet go on sale after release? I don't know. We would have to do that data. And I'm not going to. Because according to their internal documents, they lost $8 million. So somebody else can figure out if they lost 8 million, okay, it cost them 71 million, and they sold this many copies at this price, then you would have to figure out how they got to the final number based on what X is. based on all the other games that were on sale. Roughly 15 million on PC Game Pass and 10 million on Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and those numbers were a while ago. That's right. It was at January 20, January of 20. I think it was January 18th or January 21st, something like that, of 2022. They came out with the numbers of 25 million Xbox players. We've never heard another number since then, so we have to go based on that number, 25 million. We don't know if it's less. We don't know if it's more. But then months and months later, they had a document come out that said this is the breakdown, right, of Game Pass compared to PC Game Pass, and those are the numbers, and it makes 400 million, right? Has that number been backed up several times? Then yes, I agree. My point is just accepting a single source. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, let me take your logic, Travis. Let me take your logic. Spider-Man, the fastest selling game for PlayStation in the first week or whatever. I have to throw that out. I got to throw that out because they've only said it once, and that's it, right? That's only one source, which is from the source, and that has to be thrown out because it wasn't the fastest selling game, and I can't take that as face value. And if I can't take that at face value, then I can't take anything at face value. Like, what are we talking about? Right? That was backed up several times? What do you mean backed up several times? You mean other articles writing from one article, speaking the same content that they've already reported from one source? What the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? If one source comes out and 15 people just parrot it, does that make it true? What are we talking about, Travis? You guys make me laugh. I'm not laughing outside because it's not that funny. But inside my brain, I'm fucking hilariously laughing at you. You'll show me out? Okay, let me look it up. Oh, I have that document. Yeah, I had that leaked thing. Yeah. I was going to show that in just a... I was just going to show that. Am I not allowed to show that? Are they going to pull me down because it's a leaked document? That's from Sony themselves. Right. But what I'm saying is I'm allowed to show it because it's out there. It's in public knowledge now. Well, I guess I could if I see what you're saying. I can speak of it, right? I can say. It says it's a Sony document. I'm not going to show it, but I'll say it because it's not true anyway, right? Because if it's only spoken once and not spoken twice, okay? It says 1.7 billion of revenue, okay? It says on the top, it's a document. It says title. It says lifetime units. It says total revenue, total cost, total profit, ROI, and break even, okay? Miles Morales, lifetime units is 10.2 million sales, okay? 10.2 million. Okay, total revenue is 260 million. Total cost, 156 million. Total profits, 104 million. And the ROI is 122%, okay? And the break even at 3 million, okay? Spider-Man 1 Remastered, lifetime units, 4 million. Okay, total revenue, 50 million. Total cost, 39 million. Okay, total profit, 11 million. ROI, return on investment, for those of you that don't know what that is, 48%. And break even, 1 million, okay? Ratchet & Clank, lifetime sales, 2.2 million. Okay, 2.2 million. Total revenue, 73 million. Total cost, 81 million. Total profit, minus 8 million. Okay, return on investment is minus 10%. Okay, break even, plus 2 mil. Okay. Okay. Spider-Man 2. Lifetime units, 10.5 so far. Total revenue is $390 million. Total cost is $315 million. Okay. Total profit is $75 million. Return on investment is 35%. Okay. Break even was $5.5 million. Okay. Spider-Man 3. Lifetime units. Okay. 14.5 million. This is their projections, right? Total revenue is $555 million. That's what it's going to cost to make Spider-Man 3. Oh, shit, if that's true. It's going to cost them $550 million to make Spider-Man 3. Total cost total revenue. It's not going to cost them that much. Sorry, I read that wrong. Total revenue will be $555 million. Total cost is $385 million. So it's going up. It's going up from $315 to $385 million. Total profit would be $170 million. And the ROI or investment is 75%. Now, obviously, that is a expectation of what it is. To break even, they need to sell 5.5 million. Okay. Wolverine's lifetime sales, they would like 10 million. Okay. The total revenue of that would make 390 million. Total cost would be 305 million to make Wolverine. Okay. Which is pretty freaking high. Considering that's the first rendition, like that's the first game, starting at 305. Okay. Total profit will be 85 million. Return on investment would be 40%. And they need to break even with 5 million. So they have to sell 5 million. The source is from the leak, L. The source is from the leak that the hackers did. Coming directly from Sony. If my math is right, then about 70% of those who got rationing bought it for less than $30. That's crazy to me. Is it? Is it? Papa. We're talking about the Insomniac leaks and fake shit that doesn't matter what the source is. It's just fake. Marvel's royalties. I'm looking at this. Marvel's royalties, digital games are 9% to 18% of net sales. Physical games are 19 to 26% of net sales. DLC is 19 to 26% of net sales. And hardware bundles are 35 to 50% of wholesale bundle price. Calculated as follow numbers of units. Wholesale bundle price. Acceptable royalty rate for bundle. Termination. Okay. Termination here. This is from the X-Men license terms. Okay. It says neither party has the right to terminate the agreement for convenience. However, okay, if we do not sell through at least 6 million units on PlayStation 5/PC combined of one of the 3 major titles in the first year after its PlayStation console release, either party may terminate the agreement. If we terminate, we must pay Marvel $9 million breakup fee, plus all unpaid portions of the guarantee. If Marvel terminates, the forcing fee are waived, and the result is that we would not develop any further titles under this agreement. But we can continue to sell the titles released before termination. There you go. That's a hell of a deal. So if they don't sell 6 million units on PlayStation 5, then /PC combined of one of the 3 major titles in the first year after its PlayStation console launch. So first the PlayStation launches, and then when PC launches a year later, okay, if they don't sell a total of 6 million units, then they can terminate the agreement. That's crazy. I will never understand why people talk in caps. Well, sometimes I forget to shut the cap off because I hit it after doing a capital. That's just me. The Xbox are strong in force today. Looking for every little bit says PlayStation is failing. I mean, we're really not, Water. We're literally just reading the leaked documents. Nobody's trying to blow anything out of proportion. We're just reading the news. This is why Xbox owners never need to talk trash. We have mode to do that. Sony guy is going to have us start treating PC gamers as a little bit better from the sound of things. What's interesting is that Marvel has that tax, right? This is that Disney tax I was talking about, right? This is that Marvel Disney tax. The interesting part is digital games, they only get 9 to 18% of net sales. But physical copies, they get 19 to 26% of net sales. So obviously Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, they would want to sell. Now, obviously, this is just for the X-Men license terms. I'm just assuming this is a blanket type of thing. Now, obviously, it's not. I'm assuming that it's a blanket type of thing. If it's Marvel and you make a deal with Marvel, now I can take this kind of percentage and bring it back to Marvel's Avengers with Crystal Dynamics, right? Marvel had a deal with Crystal Dynamics, and now you know the digital sales, they took 9 to 18% of net sales. And physical games, they took 19 to 26% of net sales. So it's interesting to see the difference that Marvel takes, and this is why Marvel's Avengers failed, because they probably couldn't cover the freaking percentages and stuff for it. And it probably had to sell 6 million. I'm assuming this termination thing, hence why Marvel terminated, okay, Marvel's Avengers with Crystal Dynamics, is because they didn't sell the 6 million units. All I'm saying is if Marvel's forcing X-Men to show the PC adding more fuel to fire, that Blade won't be exclusive, I'll counter that, Krebsy. How about this? How about if Xbox pays the money up front? They have to sell 6 million units. They pay $500 million. Right? They pay $500 million up front to Marvel. Right? Maybe they pay 350 or 400 million, and then the rest of it will be purchased off of PC or whatever, or Xbox, the people that don't have Game Pass, right? And they make it exclusive. That's all that means. That's all that means. They don't have to. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be exclusive, but I'm saying if they really want it to be exclusive, all they have to do is cover the cost of what 6 million units costs. $500 million is not enough? What do you mean? That covers the cost of 6.4 million units. $250 million at $70, right? 250 million divided by 70 is 3.5 million copies. So if you take the 500 million divided by 70, is 7.1 million copies sold because they gave them the money up front. Now, obviously, they don't have to do that. So technically, they only have to sell. They can give them 400 million divided by 70, and that gets them 5.7. So you're giving him about $420 million. Yeah, there you go. Akuta Papa just did it. 420 million, 6 million copies sold. There you go. What do you mean 500 million is not enough? That's now think about this, right? Those of you that don't think $500 million is enough, that's 1 month of Game Pass. Potentially, they could just take 1 month of Game Pass and go, here you go, Marvel. You're correct in thinking of that, but there's also more external factors of the Blade could land. But a talk for another day. Sure, it's 2 years out, right? Blade's not coming out anytime soon. If I still have a YouTube channel 2 years from now and Blade's coming out, we'll talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. All right, so let's talk about this next topic here. Sony signs deal with Marvel to make exclusive X-Men games until 2035. Insomniac cybersecurity attack reveals. This is just added on to what we already talked about. The Insomniac data breach has revealed that Sony signed a deal with Marvel to make exclusive X-Men games until the end of 2035. One leaked slide detailed X-Men license terms, which include a note of exclusivity. According to the document, between now and December 31st, 2035, Marvel cannot release or announce any X-Men games on console, PC, or streaming platforms, or use X-Men characters as a competitive advantage in the game. The document provides an example of playing Wolverine, the Ultimate Alliance exclusive on Xbox, which would not be allowed under the terms. X-Men characters can appear in what we are calling multi-family Marvel games. However, so you might see Wolverine, for example, show up in the Avengers game, and Marvel retains the rights to children's games and certain X-Men games from the 90s. But otherwise, this is a watertight exclusivity deal that gives Sony the rights for X-Men games for the next 12 years. Okay. The document details development of marketing spent for each X-Men game, Marvel's royalty, which varies depending on the nature of the sales, physical, digital, and bundle. And the terms of potential termination platforms are, as you've expected, PlayStation and PC. According to the other slide, Marvel's Wolverine is due out in 2026, and the first X-Men game is due out in 2030. An extended roadmap, possibly out of date, slates that the third X-Men game for 2033, suggesting that Wolverine game is considered Insomniac's first X-Men game. There's also a mention of Wolverine Online 2026 and the X-Men Online 2028, and there's a word of provisional fourth X-Men game too. Obviously, if the first one does well and the second one does well, then they would do that. Right? The video game industry has descended upon Marvel in recent years to snap up licenses to make games based on intellectual property. Last year, Electronic Arts announced it had signed a long-term deal with Marvel and to develop at least 3 new action-adventure games for console and PC. The first being a single-player, third-person action-adventure Iron Man game from Star Wars Squadrons and the Dead Space remake developers Motive Studios. EA also making a single-player action-adventure game based on Marvel's Black Panther at the new Seattle-based EA studio called Cliffhanger Games. Elsewhere, Skydance Media is developing a Marvel World War II set narrative-driven adventure with Amy Hennig and Uncharted fame. It lets you play as Steve Rogers as an early Captain America among other Marvel characters. And let's not forget Marvel's Blade, just announced in the Game Awards in 2023 as in development of Dishonored and Deathloop studio Arcane Leon. Arcane is also owned by Bethesda, which also turned its own Microsoft platform, are yet to announce, but we can also, of course, count the Xbox and PC among them. As for X-Men, Sony's deal comes as Marvel prepares to properly unleash X-Men within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with a significant tease at the end of recently released The Marvels setting up an inevitable arrival of a popular mutant superhero team, Deadpool 3, which features mutants Deadpool Ryan Reynolds and Wolverine's Hugh Jackman in 2024 only Disney MCU movie. So there you go, right? That's a lot of Marvel coming out in the next decade, and Sony, they got to do something, right? They have to do something to get the exclusive rights for certain things. And I don't blame them, right? There's other documents that we'll talk about that they are worried within the leaked documents, okay? But Disney and Marvel, Disney's looking for all their studios to make Star Wars games, and they're also looking for anyone that wants to make a Marvel game, right? So EA is making 3. We got Insomniac making 3 more. We got, Wolverine, X-Men, Venom, Spider-Man 3. So they're working on a bunch of different games. Technically, 4 X-Men games could potentially come out by 2035. So that'll be interesting. And we're not getting that X-Men game until 2028, which could be the next rendition of like Marvel's Avengers, maybe done right this time, right? That would be cool if it actually happens. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited that Sony's deal with Marvel is to make an exclusive X-Men game and also until 2025? This is basically like what Madden did for football, right? They locked in NFL for 10 to 15 years with that extra, if they sell a certain amount of copies, they can extend it for an additional 5 years. They didn't say that for this particular deal, but they are exclusive X-Men games until 2035 with Insomniac, moving forward. So that's very interesting. So Sony is diving deep. Hopefully everyone doesn't get tired of Marvel games within the next decade like they did for Marvel movies. And we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be too much, but time will tell. So let's go to this next topic, which Sony is really concerned about Microsoft's Xbox strategy following the Activision Blizzard buyout. Okay. It says, following the devastating cybersecurity attack that targeted Marvel Spider-Man 2 developer Insomniac Games, leaked slides have revealed that Sony's internal concern is a competitor Microsoft emerging strategy following the $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Sony described the buyout, which brings the likes of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush within Xbox, as a leapfrogs. It goes on to say Microsoft is now positioned to leapfrog the current pillars. Okay. This is coming from Sony's internal say, right? Sony points out the benefits of the acquisition, which arms Microsoft with strong live service games scaled in mobile and already made PC storefront in Battle.net. It also notes that Microsoft is building its own mobile app store to challenge Apple's App Store and Google Play Store, which is something that Xbox boss Phil Spencer has spoken about multiple times in the past. Yeah, we knew about this going forward. Me and Sarge on Xbox, on GXG, talked about how Xbox, the reason they're buying Activision is because of the mobile. Everyone thought it was about Call of Duty, and we're like, no, it's not about Call of Duty. It's about the mobile, okay? It's about the mobile and PC, okay? Sony goes on to express concern about the Call of Duty threat coming in 2027. In order to appease the antitrust regulators, Microsoft signed a deal with Sony to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, and according to those internal documents, that deal deals into 2027. Now, Sony predicts a massive threat to its subscription service, PlayStation Plus, which amounts to $1.5 billion annual revenue. Okay? There's a day and a date threat, too, with the Microsoft poised to launch Activision Blizzard games straight into the revealed subscription service, Game Pass. Microsoft has also said it won't release the likes of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, or Diablo 4 into the Game Pass until 2024, but it seems likely next year Call of Duty game, reportedly called Black Ops Gulf War, will launch straight onto Game Pass. In the document, Sony admitted that the pillars are already dated and behind the competition. Sony's saying this. This is not me saying it. I'm not saying Sony's outdated, even though I did say that years ago when I said if they don't make changes, they will be outdated. But here we are. Okay. The expectations of free best-in-class video game creates an unstable model, Sony said, with the subscription revenue not enough to cover its investment. A unified console, PC, and mobile experience doesn't exist, Sony said, due to diversity in a form factor of the computer power. Sony's central approach, it said, that remains to be premium sales model. Okay. The internal documents shine a light on the contracting strategies between Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft launches its games day and date across PC and Xbox and straight into Game Pass, where Sony launches its games first on PlayStation and then sometime years later on PC and potential PlayStation Plus. Now, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan said in June of 2023 that the video game publisher do not like Xbox Game Pass during this pre-recorded testimony for evidentially hearing between Federal Trade Commission and Microsoft. Ryan claimed that publishers do not like Microsoft's video game subscription service because it's value destructive. He says, quote, I talked to all the publishers, okay, and anonymously, they do not like Game Pass because of the value destruction. Ryan said during a testimony just before that, Ryan claimed that Game Pass is unprofitable for Microsoft, and the Game Pass business model appears to have some challenges, and Microsoft appears to be losing a lot of money on it, Ryan said. Those comments came before Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, though, and now the game has changed for Sony, and it seems the game has changed significantly. The Insomniac data breach comes in Sony's live service game push, hangs in the balance. Last month, Sony president Hiroki Totoki, that's the greatest name ever, right? Hiroki Totoki said that the company has reviewing the 12 live service PlayStation games it had in their works and committed to launching only 6 of them by the end of March of 2026. Now, Totoki said that Sony is still working on when the other 6 live service games will come out. Well, 5 now, because we know the Factions is delayed or canceled. Is not that what we stick certain titles, but the gamer's quality should be the most important. One has already fallen away completely. However, Naughty Dog canceled The Last of Us multiplayer game focused on single-player titles in December of 2023. So Sony has spent big on studio buyouts as part of the live service drive, bringing Destiny developer Bungie, Jade Raymond, Haven Studios, and Firewalk Studios. Sony worked with Bungie with these live service expertise with Destiny series and assessed its portfolio and reportedly scaled some of the live service projects back as a result. Now, Bungie is working on Marathon, a PvP-focused sci-fi extraction shooter. Haven Studios is working on Fair Game, a competitive heist game about robbing an ultra-rich, and Firewalk Studios is working on Concord, another sci-fi PvP multiplayer game. There's also a Horizon multiplayer game from Guerrilla and a co-op action game from PlayStation London Studios. We also know from the Insomniac data breach that developer is planning on making a number of multiplayer games itself. So there you go. That's from Sony. Not directly, but it is directly. They didn't tell us directly. They told directly from documents, and those documents got leaked. And now Sony's telling us directly that they are concerned about what's happening here. I say within 3 years. I said 3 years. I said this last year. So I guess we're maybe earlier this year. We're probably like 2.5 years away. I said within 2.5 years. I said 3 years by the end of last year, the beginning of this year, right? I said that within 3 years, Sony would have to probably be pressured to do day and date. Okay. I know Sony fans don't want to hear that, but it all depends on where the industry goes. Right now, they don't have to, but they might have to in the past, where when I say day and date, they might have to put it on PC the exact same time as they're putting it on Sony, because they need that influx of money. They can't wait a year to get that influx of money. They need to get that money influx when they release that game. So if God of War comes out and there's 5 million people that want to play it on PlayStation, and there's 2 million people or 3 million people that want to play it on PC, they would have to do it all together. Okay. So that's just my thoughts. Okay. So look, I said this years ago, and you can go back and watch GXG episodes. We have 375 of them. I've talked about this multiple times with Sarge and with you guys in the stream. I said that if Sony doesn't change the way they're doing, which they have, right? They've gone the route of with the subscription model. They've gone the route where they're releasing games on PC. They've gone the route where they're making live service games. They've done these things, but it might be a little too late. Okay, I said this years ago. I said if they have to make the changes, which they did about 2 years ago, they should have made it about 3 or 4 years ago, but they didn't do that. And they might have problems. Not saying they're going under, but they might have problems for a couple years. And look, I've also said this. It's really hard to be the top of the top all the time, okay? The best teams with the best records, after they win the Super Bowl, after they win the World Series, after they win the Stanley Cup, it's hard to repeat. Sony's done it year after year after year after year after year. And if they lose for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years to recoup what they're doing to get their shit back together, that's so be it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean because if they lose the top of the pillar, as they say in the article, that Sony's going under, okay? But they have to make changes so they make sure that they can get back in the good graces of the industry as a whole. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Just scroll back up. Mr. 7 Digits says 500 million is peanuts compared to the 100 billion Microsoft spent this gen in acquisitions. Remember, Game Pass makes roughly $400 million a month, so yeah, 500 million not an issue for Xbox to pay out. 420 million is 6 million copies. Already read that one from Krebsy. Sony says that Sony's pillars are already dated and behind the competition. Xbox fans fear fear-mongering. Right. It comes from... It's like coming from someone... I'm broke. And they're like, he's not broke. They're like, he said he was broke. Nah, he's not broke. Like, what are you talking about? If Blade is 30 frames per second and buggy, oh man, I can hear Sony ponies. I think you just foreshadowed something, Water. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny? All of a sudden, they're like, oh, yeah, Blade's 30 frames per second. God damn it. What the hell's up with Marvel up to? Why won't they allow X-Men games until then? I'm assuming they wanted to correlate with the video games, or video games with the movies, right? We're not getting an X-Men movie, supposedly, X-Men movie, until like 2028, 2030, right? So we'll see. Disney's a bunch of idiots. Not wrong there, Krebsy. Blade going multi-platform is not far-fetched. I mean, I feel like we're saying the same thing we said when Starfield. And the same thing with Elder Scrolls 6. And the same thing. I'm not saying Blade can't be multi-plat, but I feel like we're going down the same path. They're like, nope, there's no way they're making Starfield exclusive. There's no way they're making this exclusive. And it's like, they might. They might. You got to remember, Blade doesn't come out for 2 more years. What's the landscape in 2 years? Right? Where's the Xbox's Game Pass numbers? Are they still at 25 million? Are they 40 million? Are they 50 million? Are they 70 million? Are they at 100 million? Like, we don't know that number, right? These Marvel games can't be asset flips from Spider-Man. These games will end up day and date on PC. I think they might, Paul. I don't know why YouTube does this every once in a while if you're getting it, because I monitor myself on the stream. If it starts to skip, just make sure you refresh. To make money, they have to go to PC. You're talking about Sony, Rossi, right? What I was saying. To me, exclusivity really doesn't matter. I play all the consoles PC, but I do think exclusives aren't really needed to seeing as though we all going cloud-based soon. Let me simplify this. Wah, Xbox might beat us. Not fair. Yeah. Was that a good voice, Akula Papa? Was that? Xbox going third party like Sega. Digit says it's always been about King. That mobile market dwarfs any other market. Reach, Mr. 7 Digit, right? I said it for years before they even made the announcement. Okay, I said they're gonna buy Activision. Everyone's like, no way. And then they bought Activision, which was the biggest non-shocker for me, right? And then when they made it, I was like, it's about the mobile. Everyone's like, no, it's about Call of Duty. I was like, no, it's about mobile. Well, Windows Central reached out to confirm Blade exclusivity and they declined to comment. The writing is on the wall. Is it, though? It's 2 years out. They don't want to say anything if it's exclusive or not, because you know why? They're not allowed to say it because Xbox makes that call. You see what I'm saying? So you're not wrong that they didn't comment, but they're also not allowed to comment because unless Phil Spencer and Microsoft says it's okay to comment. And I don't think Microsoft knows what they want to do yet because they're trying to see the landscape because Blade is still 2 years minimum before it even comes out. It's not a shocker that Phil Spencer said not every game is exclusive. It all depends on what's happening. 2 years from now, lots of stuff can happen. If Blade's exclusive, they're already behind the 8-ball according to the Marvel tax. Are they, though? Marvel only cares about the bottom line. If their goal is to sell 6 million copies, and they can make 6 million copies by paying them $420 million, then they're ahead of the game, not behind. Chief says, yeah, the new Marvel movie, Madam Web, looks pretty bad. I will not be paying money to see that, but it will also go. But I will go see Aquaman Friday. I have no interest in Aquaman just because James Gunn ruined it for me when he said none of this is attached. So it's like, why am I watching it? Even if Microsoft might go third party, they're bringing in far more revenue than Sony. You're talking about mobile, PC, and whatever console they contribute to sell to. I'm telling you, I made a video about World of Warcraft coming to console. If that comes to console, and I said it's going to come to console, but it's going to come to PC Game Pass first in my prediction. Okay, and if that comes to Game Pass for a subscription model, and people are paying $14 right now for World of Warcraft, just World of Warcraft, but you can move that over to Game Pass and pay the $17 to get Game Pass and World of Warcraft, right? That number for Game Pass is going to skyrocket. I'm on the opinion that these documents are from the FTC trial and worked in such ways that potentially prevented the acquisition. But are they from the documents, Krebsy? Or are they from the hackers hacking it? Or you're saying that they were part of the thing, but they didn't get leaked then, but they got leaked now? The CFO literally name dropped PlayStation and Nintendo. Sure, but regardless of what they said, we can't say without a doubt, L. My point is, it's 2 years away. Nobody can say officially that it is or isn't exclusive. It's 2 years away. Water says, if you're looking at what we're doing is setting up the way, which is fine, they make games for everyone everywhere. What's the problem? The dude says, I think Xbox going forward will sell their games on any system that will let them do so. What is the goal? They're shared with investors. Well, dude, you gotta, like, what are they, right now they're selling the Xbox Series S for like 150. They're selling the Xbox Series X for 250. Or is it 350? Right? They're like $150 or $200 off, right? They want people, anybody, to just get an Xbox. They're like handing Xboxes out for free, right? Because they're trying to get, they want people to get in the ecosystem. All I need is more verse games with X-Men characters. Hey, if they come out with Ultimate Alliance, look, I bought a Switch because I wanted to play Ultimate Alliance, okay? If PlayStation has exclusive multiplayer X-Men games, I guess I'm getting a PlayStation 6 then. You know what I mean? Let's not forget the Microsoft and Xbox just hired 2 PlayStation executives. Who else thinks more executives are jumping ship? The Marvel games need PC bag. Right? Right? What just happened to... It just jumped. I said 2024. Okay, there it is. We're going to PC bag. Game Pass has already been played on pretty much anything with a chip in it. It's basically third party right now, and you can walk and chew gum. Mr. Digit, last night I downloaded the Xbox app on my MetaQuest. Holy shit, it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm gonna get rid of all my monitors. I'm just gonna stream with, stream on my MetaQuest. If X-Men and Wolverine have similar fan bases versus Spider-Man, how do you even hope for a good ROI on development costs of these games? I don't know. We'll see. What's going on, Jax? Did you see the leaked Wolverine gameplay? I did not see the leaked Wolverine gameplay. I did not see the. I don't like to ruin myself with certain things. So I didn't partake in looking at but I heard about it. It's more like a case of your own house having German roaches, then go to someone else's house to complain. What's everyone doesn't want to hear this? If Sony games need a DLC roadmaps and some kind of microtransaction model. I mean, that's what they're doing, right, Paul? That's why they're doing the live service games. So Spider-Man 3 game and Spider-Man 4 will release around the same time? What do you mean, Krebsy? Roadmaps used to be cool. Now I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that shit. Now they're thinking, which one, Jones? Now they're thinking about splitting Spider-Man 3 into 2 parts. Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? They're splitting Spider-Man 3 into 3 and 4? Is that what Krebsy was saying? Charging $70 for part 1, $70 following year for part 2. That would be gross. That would be gross if they did that. I would just wait. And then do what they did with Miles Morales, right? I would just wait for part 2 to come out, and then they would bundle it together and give it to you for a discounted price. I'm just now realizing 30NSG is on Reforge's channel sometimes. How does he deal with that? What do you mean? Well, for Starfield, Xbox heads Phil Spencer and CFO wasn't saying our games release everywhere and calling it Sony and Nintendo as part of the ecosystem. They were saying that Sony and Nintendo are our competition. Perfection on the voice. Appreciate it. It's always been about King. Blade launch title on the new 2026 Xbox. Max Phil is looking at the landscape. Roadmaps are stupid. Just don't say shit until they have something to show behind CGI trailer ending Triple X. They also roadmaps. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I'm trying to catch up on the stuff here. They will launch on the Note 2026. Xbox Game Studios will also likely always have Xbox console only. Xbox Bethesda are open for a case-to-case review. That's what I'm saying. Everyone that's like, yeah, Blade's definitely coming out for multi-platform. Everyone's like, no, it's coming exclusive. Both of sides don't know shit. Both sides don't know shit. The only person that knows if it's exclusive or not exclusive is Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, and whoever else is up in the upper echelon over there, right? That's the only people that know. Yeah, Water, last night after I got off stream, I uploaded the Xbox app on the MetaQuest. I was like, this shit's crazy. Pepsi says, you said that you can see X-Men game and the X-Men movie release around the same time. What if they release Spider-Man 3 game near Spider-Man 4 movie? Oh, Spider-Man 4 movie, not Spider-Man 4 game. Gotcha. Game being split into 2 parts. Or were you saying game and also the movie? Yeah, I can see them. I can see Spider-Man 4, if it comes out, it'll probably come out around 2026, 2027. And what did they say Spider-Man's coming out? What did they say? Oh, we had a we have, I guess we'll, maybe it's on a different document that I had. $2028. Yeah, that makes sense. About 2027 is supposed to be Spider-Man 4, right? With Tom Holland. Papa says, my biggest takeaway from the Insomniac hack is that Sony needs to up their security still. Yeah, that's what boggles my mind. How many times, let's not even take Sony, right? Xbox gets hacked, Sony gets hacked, they all get hacked. How many times do they have to upgrade? They're like, I won't. What's the possibilities of happening again? It's like, what? What's happening here? Spider-Man 3 is slated for 2028. I mean, this is crazy to think, right? So, my big thing is that there's no games coming out next year from Insomniac, right? Nothing in 2024. Then you have Wolverine coming out in 2025, and you have Venom coming out in 2025, according to this leak, right? Then you have nothing 2026, 2027, and then you have Spider-Man 3 coming out in 2028 if it's on time, right? Wolverine even says potentially postponed till fiscal year of 2026, which is interesting. I wonder how much stuff this has to do with Marvel going, yeah, you can't release it yet because we have a planned thing for X-Men in the movies and we'd like to do cross promotion, right? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Like, can they get a more secure browser? I mean, seriously, like just take your data and take it off that particular server that you're on and move it somewhere else. Or stop putting documents in emails going, hey, here's our whole roadmap till the next 15 years. I'm just going to email it to you. Oh, I hit it to the wrong person. But that's my point, Krebsy. I said in Discord, right? I'm really nervous, right? Because I've said Insomniac's one of the best studios out there, right? I also said Massive Studios is one of those game companies like Insomniac. They're just hitting on all cylinders, right? They make good games. Yet, I feel like you find your best worker, and now you're just working him to the bone. And Insomniac Games is going to suffer of this, right? They're going to suffer. It's too much for them. There's going to be burnout if you're just nonstop making Marvel games, right? There's no difference in my brain. There's no difference if you're working on Destiny for the last 10 years. And you're making Destiny 1, and you're making Destiny expansions, and you're making Destiny 2, you're making Destiny expansions, making it, right? And there's no difference if you're Insomniac making Spider-Man. And you go from Spider-Man to Miles Morales. You go from Miles Morales to Spider-Man 2. You go from Spider-Man 2 to Venom, or to Wolverine, and then from Wolverine to Venom, and then from Venom to... It's like they're just making... Especially all the Spider-Man games. What are they going to do? Are they going to change? Are they going to change New York? Right? Spider-Man takes place in Manhattan. So they're making Spider-Man, then they made Miles Morales, then they made Spider-Man 2, then they're making Venom, then they're making Spider-Man 3. It's exactly the same as a live service game. But it's standalone games. It's like, buy it, play it, put it down. Buy it, play it, put it down. But over 10 years, you get 5 games. And in Destiny, it's buy it, keep playing it, milk it till it's dead. Here's the next expansion. Play it till it's dead over the 10 years. Right? 10 years. Just the Spider-Man series. You're getting Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Venom, and Spider-Man 3. 5 games in 10 years. And on top of that, they're making an X-Men game, a Wolverine game, another X-Men game, because 1, 2, and 3, and maybe a potential 4. I mean, great for them for having solid work for the next decade and a half. Once you see Wolverine gameplay, I definitely can see people getting bored. Oh, did they show that much? They show that much? Eclipse says, speaking of awesome browsers, Opera just put in a feature that you can press F12 and it goes to a random website and closes everything down that you were on, which is awesome. Is that awesome? I like Opera. I think Opera is one of the best browsers out there. For what I do, anyway. I like it. Watch a Bungie dev sent the link for the hack for Bungie. Get away from Sony with the money. That's a hell of a conspiracy. That's a hell of a conspiracy. They will be gone 2025. Who will be gone 2025? You're talking about Bungie? I said 3 years. I said 3 years they would break away again, but I don't know if that's going to happen now, but I did say 3 years. I'm on record saying that. I assume Venom and Spider-Man 3 share Spider-Man 2 assets. Wolverine and X-Men could share assets with other game, and they use things from Spider-Man 2. But that's what I'm saying, Krebsy. That's what I'm saying. Just like Destiny itself has assets that are they're working on one series for 10 years, right? Same with Insomniac. They're basically made the Spider Universe. It's like a live service game for them, not for us, right? For the developers. They go from one Spider-Man game to the next Spider-Man game to the next Spider-Man game to the next Spider-Man game. It's not for us, right? It's the developers are working on Spider-Man games and working in New York for a decade and a half. When I say it's a live service, it's not for us, the players. It's a live service for the developers making it. They're constantly just working on the same universe. Destiny is the same universe, right? Wolverine looks just like Spider-Man. See, I didn't see anything of it. I didn't see anything of it. I am excited for Wolverine, though. I'm a big Wolverine fan. For all we know, Venom game would be Rogue or Souls-like. You know what? I wouldn't like that, but PlayStation fanboys would eat that shit up. They would eat that shit up. I would personally get bored. Doesn't matter if I'm not a diehard one console, but if I was just buying a console, if it was like Halo, and then Halo came out with a roguelike, and then I got Gears, and then Gears came out with a roguelike, and then I came out with whatever, right? The next IP, it came out with the game, then it came out with a roguelike. I'll be like, oh, here we go again. Like everyone putting a battle royale or an extraction shooter inside their multiplayer shooter now. Like, boring. It's awesome when one game does it, but then when all the games do it, it's like, oh, here we go again. How do we reinvent ourselves? Gears Rogue. I want that. I'm just saying, right? It's like, oh, Horizon Forbidden West is coming out with an MMO. Oh, and Gears is coming out with an MMO, or God of War is coming out with an MMO, and they keep picking the same things. And there's like, well, what worked on the last one? Well, we had a roguelike, and then we came out with an MMO. All right, well, let's do that again. Printed. This came in 1 hour ago. Hackers claim to have leaked over 1.3 million files from Sony Corporation division Insomniac Games, maker of the Marvel Spider-Man series. Like, Jesus. But I'm sure they're all fake. I'm sure they're all fake. According to Travis's theory of if it's only one source, it's fake. Unfortunately, I can't read the article because I'm not a Bloomberg member. So, why do you think I'm bored of Sony's first-party games? I played enough QT events or QuickTime events for movie games. I mean, I like the movie games. I do. But I get it. Wait, someone look for Carnage in the files. I want to talk about the Suicide Squad, but I don't, because I don't want to ruin story elements, story beats. But I will say, I was correct yet again. I was correct yet again. On a video of Suicide Squads in the trailer, I broke down at the very end of the trailer, I said, a certain person's coming back, and everyone's like, no, they're dead. And I went, uh-huh. Until they're not. I mean, this right here is my favorite emote. It really is. It really is. Rossi said, well, the hack also revealed that Sony wants to raise game prices up. Jesus, do they? What do they want to raise it to now? $80? You know what the problem? You know what the problem with that is, Rossi? The more they keep raising the price, Xbox is like, oh, this sounds great. Yeah, go ahead and raise the price to $80. And then they're like, yeah, we'll raise the prices to $80 as well, because that would push people to Game Pass more. Yeah, raise them all up as you want, right? Because everyone will start going to Game Pass. Because even if people go to Game Pass and Microsoft raises Game Pass, right? Even if you pay $20, $25 a month is still cheaper, okay, than buying 3 games a year. I'm not saying nobody goes to the grocery store and buys the most expensive stuff and doesn't care about the prices, but the majority of the population is bringing coupons and looking for deals. That's all I'm saying. Sure, there's a guy that walks into a car dealership and says, I'll take that car, because he's a sheik and he has an oil dealership and he can buy whatever he wants. Everyone else comes in and they're nickel and diamond going, yeah, I don't want that for that price. Can you give it to me for a lower price? Because everyone's looking for a deal. Rocksteady leaked it to themselves by making a video on the topic. There really is a leak at that point. Oh, for that particular thing that I've said, but it was a brief 2 or 3 frame thing that I found, Krebsy, if that's what you're talking about. If that's what you're talking about. Yes, raise prices of the game, so my collection of old games makes me look smarter. Oh, well, hackers are still at it. 2 hours ago, Comcast confirmed that hackers exploiting critical rated security vulnerability accessed sensitive information about 36 million Xfinity customers. Hackers doing their thing for the holidays. Let's see, just the leaks. Here's what I'll say before I say it. This is all I'll say about the Suicide Squad, because I can't talk too much about it because I don't want to ruin anything for me. But the title of the game, right? And I don't want people in the chat to start going, "Well, this is what it is." If you put any leaks of story elements inside of the chat, I will ban you, because I'm not here about ruining other people's joy of waiting for a game to come out. Okay. If anyone's gonna be that asshole, just go away. Okay? Right? All I'm gonna say is the title of the game is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If you're upset by something that happened in the story, and the story is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you might want to check yourself. I'm just saying. These are probably the same people that said, "Well, it's not Sea of Friends, it's Sea of Thieves." Okay? It's in the title. So don't get too upset when they kill the Justice League. Just saying. Skull and Bones greater than Sea of Thieves. This was backwards day. Chicken at Costco is a great deal. Not looking for deals, Mo. You got to pay for the most expensive chicken possible. Reese, Vince, we aren't poor. We can afford $80 games, unlike the Xbox people. They're just cookies. They're just cookies. What is this? Battlefield? What is this, guys? You know what this is? It says Battlefield World Tour. Tank support. Jesus Christ. I can't speak. Superiority. Community Spotlight. Payload Classic. Battlefield 3 versus Battlefield Bad Company 2. Enjoy the Battlefield Portal Ration in week 2 of Holiday Protocol. Is this just a big-ass tank battle they're having? Oh, yeah, I might have to try this out. Maybe we'll play that tonight. Speaking of, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing an interview with the Kingard. Okay, we watched his videos last week. I reached out to him and said, hey, would you like to talk? I want to get to know the streamer or the content creator. I like his content. I want to get to know who he is as a gamer and as a content creator. He might be on for 30 minutes. He might be on for an hour. He's got his time. Whenever he has to go, he has to go. So we're going to have an interview tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. So come on in. And then after that, we'll jump into a game. And then I'll make a breakout video of that interview separate. People are like, it's impossible to avoid Wolverine and Insomniac leaks on here. Well, I haven't seen it yet. Okay. Hey, guys. Just so you guys are excited. Skull and Bones. This just in. Skull and Bones. We see some awesome Survive a closed beta. We'll be back in no time. But first, we thought we could clarify who we think deserves an award for their feat. If you guys are in the closed beta, you get some cosmetic stuff. It's exciting, huh? It's exciting. You see the volcano erupt in Iceland? I did not. That failed game Halo has a free Xmas update today. You can check it out. I still have to go back and play the campaign for Halo. We played it like a month and a half ago, and we have never gone back. You're cozy. Thanks, Singapore. That's right. Make sure you thank... Every time we mention Skull and Bones, you gotta mention thank you, Singapore. Because if it wasn't for Singapore, you wouldn't be getting Skull and Bones. Singapore single-handedly brought that game to your front door. Yeah. Take bets on the team making Skull and Bones closing within a month after release. No. I think it will close. I'm not disagreeing with you there, Paul, but I don't think it's like a month. But then again, an hour and a half after I said Fantastic should close down their studio, it happened. So it could happen. I don't think that Skull and Bones lasts more than 18 months. Is that true, dude? I'll get more views if I can make him cry during an interview. Like, what am I bringing up? So, what emotional things happened to you as a kid? I played Pac-Man. It really brought what kind of Barbara Walter interview do you want me to do? So, what's your favorite kid? What game really brings you back? You're a wee little lad. Hogue Law on I like Hogue Law. I watch his stuff every once in a while. He says, I don't have the time to do a video, unfortunately, but suffice to say that it feels terrible that the folks at Insomniac, where my brother once worked, I feel almost as bad as one of the most inventive game studios in the world, is set to exclusively make Marvel games. I feel bad, almost as bad as one of the most innovative game studios in the world to set exclusively make Marvel games. Yeah, I feel like it's a punishment. I do. But maybe they're good at it, right? Maybe that's what they want to do. That's why they're like, yeah, we love this stuff. Let's just keep getting Marvel games. I just feel like they could do anything else, but Sony's like, no. You got to keep making Spider-Man games because Spider-Man games make money. Well, besides Miles Morales. It sells 1/3. It sells 1/3 of what Spider-Man sells. I can almost see the stories happening. It'd be like 2025, if I'm still around, you'll see reports of Insomniac. They're burnt out. There was crunch time. They had to get it out because now there's like the pressure, right? There's the pressure of them getting these certain things out because now they have to make 6 million units and they got to make sure the games, you know what I mean? Reese says they deserve punishment for what they did to Spooderman. What I'm hearing here is personally Hoag's fault. Sad thing is you're not wrong. Krebsy, I am wrong about certain things, right? But I have that like intuition that happens, right? When I hear stuff like this, we've talked about this. I don't want the same company to make the same game over and over. Insomniac doesn't miss. Here we go again. Well, they do miss, L, because earlier in the stream we talked about how Ratchet and Clank didn't make money. They lost money. That's a miss. So don't say they don't miss, because facts say different. Like blind love and blind hate are the same, right? If you blindly hate something or you blindly love something, you don't see for what is being said. Facts are that Insomniac made a game that was loved by people, but it didn't make enough money. And at the end of the day, you got to make enough money. Was it a good game? I don't know. I didn't play it. Apparently, it was good for the 2.2 million people that played it, but it didn't make money. So, it doesn't matter if I think it's a good game or not. Absolutely, dude. I said it. You can't always be on top. You can't always be on top. Did they miss? What did they miss, Reese? You're saying they missed with Spider-Man 2. How did they miss? They made profit there. Yeah, but Rose, it doesn't matter if it's a fantastic game or not. The bottom line is they didn't make money. In terms of quality, they don't, I mean, you might be right about that, but at the end of the day, it has to make money. You have Sony telling you Ratchet and Clank flopped. Why is it when someone tells you there's a problem? Definitely not a missed game. Was awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't understand. Make a game to make money. It didn't make the money. Amazing game. Great. It didn't make money. There wasn't enough of you guys that loved it to make money. Right? Ratchet is not going to sell 30 million. No one said it was supposed to sell 30 million. I didn't say it was a failure, Rose. I didn't say it was a failure. They said it was a failure. The company that you're sucking the dick on said it was a failure. I don't know what to tell you guys. I didn't say it was a failure. You guys are insane, man. Ah, it's a good game. Great. It was a good game. It didn't make a money. You make something to make money. It didn't make money. You enjoying the game is not pertinent to the conversation. The conversation is they didn't make money. It doesn't matter if you enjoyed it, if it was the best out of the entire world. It won Game of the Year. It didn't make money. They make games to make money. It didn't make money. And that is a failure. And don't take it personal, okay? Because I'm just reading you the facts. Like, okay, same conversation. Are you ready for this? Marvel's Avengers failed. It sold 3.6 million. It was under what they wanted to make. Failure, right? Final Fantasy 16, 3.3 million. Successful. Everyone loved the game, but it failed because it didn't make the money. And now Ratchet and Clank. The difference between Marvel's Avengers, okay, and Final Fantasy and Ratchet and Clank is Marvel's Avengers in all the systems, so it wasn't Sony or Xbox, but Final Fantasy and now Ratchet and Clank are Sony, and everyone's like, well, it was a good game. Still a failure. It still didn't make money. They lost money on those things. Just like a movie. You can like a movie, right? The movie can make money, but it doesn't make the money back. It lost money, meaning it's a failure. It made enough to make another game. No. They made enough money for a lost leader to bring the exclusive because it's only on PlayStation. It's a game that sold the console for people to sell. Oh, Ratchet and Clank's only on PlayStation, right? It was supposed to make money. It didn't make money. They're like, we can do another one, right? We could do another one because the cost of it probably doesn't cost $350 million like it does for a Spider-Man game. All right. I kind of want to go down this video here. We watched the 15 worst games yesterday by Gaming Bolt. Okay. And this is the 30 best. Was it 15 yesterday? Or there was 15 worst games. And now we're going to watch the 30 best games this year.
In many ways, 2023 was the perfect storm for anyone who enjoys video games. Delayed development and release timelines, combined with titles that had always been planned for the year, and ended up cramming the calendar full of an endless deluge of incredible titles demanding the attention of the masses. Over the course of the last 12 months, we've played some of the best games, not only in recent memory, but of all time. To that point that it's already abundantly clear that
water, if the day before is not on this list, it's wrong.
2023 is going to go down as one of gaming's best years. Given the embarrassment of riches we've been spoiled with throughout the year, it's by no means easy to pick out a group of games that stand as the best of the best, because any such group is unavoidably going to have to leave out others that do deserve your attention. We have, however, attempted to do that here, so join us as we count down our favorite 30 games of 2023, culminating.
This is their opinion. I want to make that clear. This is their opinion. on what the 30 best games are this year.
With our game of the year. Now, it's worth noting all entries and rankings were decided by an internal vote held among the entire Gaming Bolt staff. Number 30, Sons of the Forest. Fans of the survival genre are well aware of what Insomniac Games is capable of, and the studio proved it.
I didn't play this. I watched people play this, and I like this type of stuff, but it didn't hit with me.
Its credentials yet again with the early access launch of Sons of the Forest this year, a game that builds on the foundations of its already excellent predecessor in some exciting ways. Horrifying, immersive, addictive, and dense, even in its early access form, Sons of the Forest is one of the genre's highlights, and we can't wait to see how it grows going forward. Number 29, Diablo 4. Any praise that Diablo 4 gets probably comes with caveats, not least because of the way Blizzard Entertainment has fumbled its post-launch activities, but there are nonetheless plenty of things to praise. Whether that's the game's massive and...
I mean, everyone had fun with this, right? I mean, I enjoyed the story, but then I was done.
Dense open world, its unsurprisingly addictive progression loop, or its surprisingly compelling combat, Diablo 4 does do enough to show just how deeply the genre's formula can still get its hooks into you, even with its issues. Number 28, Like a Dragon Ishin. The Like a Dragon franchise, or Yakuza,
I never played any of these. Never played any of these in the franchise,
as it was called until recently, has been on an absolute roll for several years running now.
Jones is like, they said Diablo 4, I'm out.
And in 2023, it delivered yet another standout experience in the form of Like a Dragon Ishin. Not only is it an excellent remake of a game that had previously never been available in the West, it's also a surprisingly effective blend of the Yakuza formula and fascinating period Japanese setting. That it manages to stand toe-to-toe even with some of the series' mainline outings.
This looks like an older game. And this is not a shot at Sony. This reminds me of like a PlayStation 2 game, right? Only because that's what I had back then. I had a PlayStation 2. It kind of reminds me of a PlayStation 2.
Is testament to just how much effort Ryuga Gotoka Studio put into its game. Number 27, Lords of the Fallen. The wait for Lords of the Fallen game was a long one, but Hexworks...
I feel like Lords of the Fallen, like, fell off super fast. Like, super fast. It's like, it didn't even make noise when it came out, and then it was just gone.
And
like, you didn't even know it came out.
CI Games' Souls-like action RPG turned out to be worth that wait, for the most part. Though not without its rough edges in some areas, for genre purists, this is still an incredibly easy game to recommend. Rewarding exploration, stunning art design, heavy and challenging combat, a well-implemented dual-world mechanic, and some truly spectacular boss fights are just a few of the game's biggest strengths. Number 26, Season A Letter to the Future. Season A Letter to the Future is deliberately...
I like the art style of this. We saw this at the Summer Game Fest. I didn't know it came out.
Slow pacing and introspective tendencies lead to some of its dullest moments, but at the same time, it's exactly those elements that also make for some of its most memorable ones. It's a melancholic yet gorgeous game that juxtaposes the inevitable death of its world with the bountiful natural beauty it still boasts as it stumbles to its demise. And capturing that beauty as a memoir serves as a surprisingly affecting journey. Number 25, Viewfinder.
Can we take bets on where Starfield lands? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Put a number out there. I say it's in the top 5. I mean, hell, they put Diablo 4 on this list, so...
First-person puzzles aren't exactly a rarity, but you'll be hard-pressed to find one with a...
This game was very interesting. Very interesting.
A central hook as creative...
I didn't play it, but I watched people play it, and I thought this was very cool.
As mind-bendingly unique as the one in Viewfinder. Your goal is simple: to take pictures and then manipulate them as 3D objects to fill in gaps in the environment.
Dave says not on the list at all. L says 10.
So you can continue making
I'm going to say top 5.
Progress. That one gimmick, so to speak, pervades every second of the experience, and somehow it never loses its charm. First experiencing how effortlessly the game executes such a different idea was easily one of our favorite gaming moments of the year. Tied for number 24 and number 23, RoboCop.
I mean, I would put RoboCop up a little bit. RoboCop for me would be in the top 15. For me. For the games that I played this year, it would definitely be... Well, actually, I played a lot of games this year, but I have a list of games. Hold on. I played a lot of games this year, but... Yeah. I have 20 main games that I like this year, and I would put it in the top 15.
Up Rogue City. With Terminator Resistance, Teon had already proved that it was more than capable of developing a solid game based on a classic sci-fi film.
I don't know what that means. Tied for... Is there another game?
Franchise. And this year, the developer did that again with RoboCop Rogue City, a game that captures the RoboCop vibe so well, it's hard not to be impressed if you have even a passing interest in the property. Though it's lacking in the sheen of a AAA blockbuster, Rogue City is nonetheless simultaneously a great RoboCop game and an absolute blast of a first-person.
It's a perfect RoboCop game. Perfect RoboCop game.
Person shooter. Tied for number 24 and number 23, Jusant.
So this tied with RoboCop. I played both of these literally the same week. I actually like this game as well. Didn't finish it, but the 3 hours that I played, I thought it was very good.
Don't Nod is usually associated with
I don't know if it will be on my list because I didn't finish it, but
a very particular kind of game. But though Jusant is very much not that kind of game, it still probably ranks as one of the best the studio has ever put out. Climbing a single dauntingly large mountain is the puzzle platformer's North Star from beginning to end, and it gets the absolute most out of that simple yet effective premise. It's simultaneously zen and mechanically engaging. It looks gorgeous. And
yeah, the mechanics of this game where you're climbing and you're using the right trigger, left trigger for your left hand, right hand, stuff like that, it's cool.
It tells a surprisingly compelling story. Without a doubt, it's one of 2023's best surprises. Number 22, Dead Island 2.
To answer your question, Travis, this would be my biggest regret, but I didn't buy it, right? I didn't buy it, so I have no regret for this because I got a code from the company. But I was very disappointed in Dead Island 2.
After a development cycle as long and
so I can't say it's my biggest regret because I didn't purchase it.
Turbulent as the one it had, Dead Island 2 was fully expected by many to be something of a dumpster fire. So the fact that it turned out as well as it did is nothing short of a mini miracle. No, it didn't set the world on fire by any means, but though there's nothing particularly extraordinary about it, it's still a solid ride.
I didn't think it turned out that good. Like, you could literally kill all the bosses standing on boxes. I played it on stream, and then I played it for about another 2 hours after stream. And it literally, like, listen to what he says. It wasn't a dumpster fire, right?
Riotously short of a mini miracle. No, it didn't set the world on fire by any means, but though there's nothing particularly extraordinary about it, it's still a solid, riotously enjoyable zombie slasher.
Oh, wait, did he not say? I thought he said dumpster fire.
So the fact that it turned out as well as it did is nothing short of a mini miracle. No, it didn't set the world on fire by any means, but though there's nothing particularly extraordinary about it, it's still a solid, riotously enjoyable zombie slasher. With brutal and gleefully gory combat, stunning visuals, and a well-realized setting that's
I thought the gameplay like felt sluggish and whatnot.
Full of personality, Dead Island 2 is much better than most had expected it would be.
Too many also repeatable characters. Like the zombies, there'd be like two of the same zombies right next to each other. I thought that was a little lackluster there.
Number 21, Everspace 2. Having been out in early access as long as it was, there was little doubt in anyone's mind that Everspace 2 was going to be a really good game. And when, upon its 1.0 launch in 2023, that's exactly what it turned out to be. On top of building on the...
Isn't this the game that a couple years ago blasted King Gothalion because he played the game and then didn't like it and said something? And then they came out and like said something and it was back and forth between them. Isn't this the game?
The arcade dogfighting combat of its predecessor, Everspace 2 also delivers a large open world that's consistently fun to explore, as well as genuinely engaging loot-driven progression mechanics. The packed nature of 2023 has seen Everspace...
This game looks good.
2 slipping under the radar for many.
I'm over the type of games where you're like constantly just like in a spaceship on a pirate ship. You know what I mean? Like, I like games where I can move around. Not saying there's not a clientele for this. Like, people like that type of stuff, but I would rather play No Man's Sky than what was that? Dangerous, Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous, you're always in a ship, right? I'd rather play No Man's Sky so I can get out of the ship and travel. I'd rather play Starfield because I can get out of the ship and travel, right?
But it's well worth a look. Number 20, Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts, this game vanished in a blink of an eye. We saw it and we're like, oh, it's like Monster Hunter. And then all of a sudden it came out and then it was like crickets. And then all of a sudden it's on Game Pass.
Wild Hearts doesn't come close to topping Monster Hunter off its throne, but in its own rights, it's still a damn good experience.
Oh, I'm sure it's fun, Akuda. I just don't like games where I'm just stuck in a vehicle. Like American Truck Simulator, I like because you get to travel to different parts of the country, but I hate that you can't get out of the truck. I hate that you can't get out of the truck.
Experience that puts some interesting twists with the monster hunting formula. Obviously, it excels in the areas that matter most in a game such as this, those being incredible enemy design, thrilling boss fights, and slick combat. But on top of that, it also carves out its own identity with its crafting mechanics and on-the-fly building that defines so much of the experience. Number 19, Pikmin 4. Nintendo sure took its sweet time.
I've never played any of these.
Pikmin 4 out the door, but boy oh boy was it absolutely worth the wait. The series' bizarre take on real-time strategy gameplay formula has always had a hold on its audiences, but Pikmin 4 refines and improves it to take it to completely new heights. Whether through its bevy of smaller improvements that come together to elevate the core formula in excellent ways, or through significant new additions, chief among them being Ochi, Pikmin 4 easily stands as the ultimate realization of the beloved Pikmin formula. Tied for number 18 and number 17, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shore.
I want to play these games. I have the first one, never played it. I watched Co Carnage play through the whole playthrough. I love it. I just never had time to play it.
Horizon went full Hollywood with its Burning Shores expansion in 2023, in more ways than one. Taking Aloy to what remains of Los Angeles in the series' post-apocalyptic world, the expansion is yet another stunning outing for Guerrilla's action RPG franchise. A new open world location, more gorgeous sights to behold, and more incredible battles against machines would have been enough to make Burning Shores worthy of your attention. And with an excellent new character, Seika, and one of the most astounding set pieces
I don't get the whole tie thing. Just make it... Take the last two games off and then still make the top 30. You know what I mean?
Ever experienced in a game in quite some time, it becomes even more unmissable. Tied for number 18 and number 17, Forza Motorsport. The wait for Forza Motorsport's 8th mainline entry.
I played it. I thought it was a good car game, but I didn't love it because I don't like these type of games. But I remember people nitpicking on this. Did you see the grass? The grass looks so good as I'm going 180 miles an hour and it's doing this past, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Was a surprisingly long one. And though the jury is still out on whether the 2023 installment was
right, top 36 games with all the ties,
as successful of a series reinvention as many had hoped it would be, there's no doubting that on its own merits, it's a hell of a racing sim. It boasts all the high production.
User rating says this shouldn't be on the list. What do you mean? It's not based on user rating. It's based on the internal group at the company.
Values, stunning technical advancements, and obsession emphasis on realism and authenticity that you expect to see in a Forza Motorsport game. Yes, poor execution of some of its bigger new ideas does hamper the experience, but there's a solid foundation here.
What hampers the experience? I missed it. Hold on a second.
That you expect to see in a Forza Motorsport. As many had hoped it would be, there's no doubting that on its own merits, it's a hell of a racing sim. It boasts all the high production values, stunning technical advancements, and obsession emphasis on realism and authenticity that you expect to see in a Forza Motorsport game. Yes, poor execution of some of its bigger new ideas does hamper the experience, but there's a solid foundation here for Turn 10 Studios to build on.
Isn't it a live service game? Isn't that a live service game?
Number 16, Lies of P. The explosion in popularity the Souls-like genre has enjoyed over the last decade has resulted in a bevy of imitators that have attempted to capture the biggest strengths of From Software's works, but none of them have done so as effectively as Lies of P does. The premise of a Souls-like set in a Pinocchio world with Bloodborne's gothic aesthetic is a fascinating one in and of itself.
Think you have enough blood on your shirt?
And Lies of P realizes that vision incredibly well. Add to that excellent level design, engaging exploration, and deeply challenging and satisfying combat, and you get an unmissable gem for all Souls-like fans. Number 15, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk 2077 made a remarkable comeback in 2023, and the incredible Phantom
3 years later.
Liberty had a huge role to play on that. Powered by many gameplay overhauls and benefiting from the many coats of polish that CD Projekt Red has applied to the game over the last couple of years, the expansion delivers what might even be some of the best content the studio has ever put out. From the
Well, it's not high praise since the last 3 years the game was broke. So hopefully this was the best content they put out.
first second to its last, Phantom Liberty is a gripping, captivating spy thriller story that truly showcases the potential.
Sorry, I shouldn't say broke. Incomplete. The stuff that they said was going to be at launch came in 3 years later, and they still haven't put all the stuff in yet.
That this IP has when handled properly. Number 14, Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy XVI is certainly a divisive game, but many players appreciate some aspects of the action game. And yes, it very much is an action game, not an RPG.
I would hope they would be free updates, L, considering they told you that the game would be finished when it came out, and it wasn't.
Something that, combined with the game's gritty setting,
Krebsy, I don't even understand. That's going to be the biggest joke ever. Best ongoing game. A game that they patched finally after 3 years and then put a DLC. Take the DLC out of it. The game ongoing patches. That's amazing. If you're going to count patches, then Elder Scrolls Online, World of Warcraft Online, Fortnite. Like, what are we talking about?
gives it a very distinct identity that sets it apart from the rest in the genre. Thrilling combat, exhilarating icon boss fights, and stunning visuals come together in this game in interesting ways. Number 13, RE4 Remake. RE4 Remake features top-tier weapon combat with the kind of graphics and technical polish that the survival horror genre has come to be associated with. The product's technical aspects include a highly detailed atmospheric weather system, along with weapon sounds and stable performance parameters.
Like, Lost Ark has more updates than ongoing. You know what I mean?
Number 12, Street Fighter 6. Given the rich vein of form the genre has been in for the last half-decade or so, expectations from Street Fighter 6 were monumentally high. But of course, the game delivers on those expectations, and then some. Unsurprisingly, the game boasts immaculately balanced fighting mechanics that evolve the series' core mechanical strengths in truly meaningful.
Is this, and I'm asking because I haven't played a fighting game like this in forever, right? Is this really good? Like people are like, you're playing it right now. Like, you're like, I haven't put it down since it came out. It's fantastic. It's the go-to fighting game. Or is it just good? Yes, it's great. Are you still playing it? Like, I remember playing Street Fighter and like Killer Instinct like nonstop when it came out. It's good, yes. But are you still playing? Are people still playing? That's my question. Are you guys still playing it? I love Street Fighter 6. The new story mode keeps me interested. So yes, I'm still playing it. I've heard it's like a fighting MMO.
Ways. While on a more zoomed out level, it also delivers a smattering of addictive, varied, well-produced content that can keep you occupied for endless hours. Unfortunately, there are several questionable monetization decisions the game has made in the wake of its launch. Sadly, that's something that the fighting genre seems incapable of disassociating itself with. Number 11, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Ooh.
After Star Wars Jedi Survivor, looking back,
I really enjoyed this game.
Fallen Order almost feels like a rough proof of concept, which is surprising, given how well...
Yeah, I think it was rushed. I think it was rushed. I think it could have used. I think it could have used another 12 months.
Received the first game was, but that's just how good the sequel is. From the significant improvements made to the core combat and traversal mechanics, to the much more rewarding exploration driven by better Metroidvania level design, Jedi Survivor meaningfully builds on its predecessor's foundations in several areas, while also telling one of the most gripping Star Wars stories we've seen across all media in quite some time. If it hadn't been plagued by technical issues at launch and for several months afterward, it undoubtedly would have enjoyed even more widespread acclaim. Tied for number 10 and number 9, Hogwarts Legacy.
Tied for 10 and 9, so isn't it just 9?
In delivering an open-world RPG adventure where you get to live out your fantasies as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Hogwarts Legacy is, simply put, the stuff of dreams for literally millions. Structurally, it approaches its open world in...
I was worried about the fighting mechanic in this game before it came out. And when it came out, I was like, this is great. This is great fighting mechanic.
Pretty by-the-numbers fashion, while it also does perhaps put more of an emphasis on the areas outside of Hogwarts than it should. But even so, it's a thoroughly impressive experience. Iconic location.
I look forward to what they do next when they make Hogwarts Legacy 2 or whatever. My biggest thing for Hogwarts Legacy 2, if they're making it, which I think they are, is that how do they make Hogwarts different, right? It's different when you have Manhattan and Spider-Man 2, right? That's the same, but they made it bigger. How do you make the castle different? You know what I mean? Are you doing the exact same page things that you're finding through the same things and recollecting them again? I know it's a separate game, but how do you make it better? How do you make it different? Do you take it and put it into a different school? I don't know.
Locations from the Harry Potter universe are brought to life with incredible detail, and the game does an excellent job of completely immersing you in those locations, just the way many of us dreamed about as children and adolescents. Tied for number 10 and number 9, Hi-Fi Rush.
Another good game.
Hi-Fi Rush really just came out of nowhere.
And the crazy part is, both of these games came out in February. Like January, February. They were like early in the year.
And not just because it was announced and released on the same day back in January. Just as surprising was the fact that it came from Tango Gameworks, a studio that had been known until then exclusively for its horror or horror-adjacent outings. And yet, Hi-Fi Rush is crafted with such ingenuity and love, it feels like this is the kind of game Tango has always been looking and making. It's a charming, vibrant, gorgeous game that's as much of a blast to play as it is a joy to look at and listen to. It's a really one-of-a-kind experience, and without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best and brightest wins Xbox has enjoyed in years. Number 8, Dead Space. Thanks to the resurgence of survival horror, genre fans have been treated to several unforgettable games in recent
I like how Dead Space on their list is higher than Resident Evil, but Resident Evil was nominated for Game of the Year.
years. But very few of them can hold a candle to the excellence of 2023's Dead Space remake. Simultaneously fresh and familiar, the remake is the best version of a game that, even in its original form, was one of the greatest survival horror games of all time. It makes just the right amount of changes and tweaks to the gameplay and design side of things, while significantly uplifting the audio-visual and narrative elements of the experience, all of which comes together in glorious fashion to create an instant horror classic. Number 7, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Mario Wonder didn't make the top 6. According to them, that's also not in the nominations if they had their own award show, right? I understand it's their opinion. But Super Mario Bros. Wonder is 7 on this list, so I'm just letting you guys know we haven't seen Starfield yet. Dave said it wasn't going to be on the list. We're getting closer. I said top 5.
Has instantly gained recognition as one of the best 2D platformers we've ever played. Every inch of the game is bursting with boundless creativity, imagination, and a heartening desire to be weird. And as a whole, the package truly earns the wonder in its title. To be able to play a new Mario game in 2023 that can legitimately stand toe-to-toe with its 3D counterparts is nothing short of amazing, and a most unexpected one at that. Number 6, Armored Core 6,
Armored Core?
Fires of...
Armored Core's in the top 6, so in their world, it would have made the nominations for Game of the Year.
Rubicon. From Software has firmly established itself as the undisputed king of Souls-likes over the years, But this year, the legendary developer decided to take a trip down memory lane with Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, in the process injecting new life into the cult classic mech action franchise. Explosive, bombastic mech battles, stellar boss fights of the kind that only From Software can craft, a startling level of freedom and complexity in its customization mechanics, and an approach to difficulty that feels simultaneously crushing and rewarding. Armored Core 6 manages to excel in all the
I mean, I thought Armored Core was going to be nominated for Game of the Year, but hey.
ways that an Armored Core game should, in all the ways that a From Software game should, and then some. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Top 5,
The
Zelda.
star of the show here is obviously the new set of abilities that Link has access to, with Ultra Hand in particular.
And plus, I figured since we watched their worst games yesterday, I wanted to watch their best games, right?
Turning out to be an absolute game changer that enables spectacular mechanical complexity and variety of the kind that the open world genre has never been able to accomplish before. The Depths, which is an entire new open world map with its own set of mechanics, content, systems, and its own unique aesthetic. Add to that an incredible physics system, significantly improved dungeons, a glut of spectacularly designed and ridiculously engaging combat, and a much more involved setting, and you get what's easily one of the greatest games ever made. Number 4, Baldur's
Gate 3 is number 4. We still haven't seen Starfield.
Gate 3. The thoroughness of Baldur's Gate 3's achievements is staggering, made even more so by the immense scale at which it applies them and the perfect consistency with which it does so. Capturing the feeling of endless freedom and agency of a true D&D campaign isn't something that games, by their very nature as programmed and finite experiences, are conducive to, but Baldur's Gate 3 somehow manages to break free of those limitations. A gripping and extreme emphasis on player choice, followed by actual weighty consequences, immense mechanical depth, a bevy of content with
Don't worry, Travis. It's only one source, so it doesn't matter anyway.
all of this and more. This masterpiece has instantly become a shining example of what the gaming medium is capable of accomplishing when it is at its very best. Number 3, Marvel's
Spider-Man 2 is number 3.
Spider-Man 2. Double the fun in nearly every way possible. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the ultimate realization of the Spider-Man power fantasy and of Insomniac's series of webhead games. Peter Parker and Miles Morales step up together as joint protagonists, and the story the game weaves around their joint adventures is one that you can't help but love, even if you have even the tiniest bit of
Dave Rose could be right. Maybe Starfield is not on the list. There's only 2 spots left. The hell is number 1 and 2? If Baldur's Gate 3 is 4 and Spider-Man's 3, what do we got left?
investment in the property. From the quieter personal moments of character development and their relationships with each other to the more bombastic
Alan Wake? Alan Wake, number 1? Or Alan Wake, number 2? What else would be there? Oh, man. Is Starfield number 1?
high-octane set pieces revolving around the likes of Venom, Kraven the Hunter, and the Lizard, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is firing on all cylinders non-stop. And of course, it makes similar leaps moving forward where its core gameplay loop is concerned as well. The trifecta of web swinging, combat, and stealth was already excellently realized in the previous 2 installments, but Marvel's Spider-Man 2 polishes it to an absolute sheen with some key additions.
I don't even think I'm subbed. I don't even think I'm subbed to these guys. Let me see. No, I'm not. I'm not subscribed to them. So, would you like me to subscribe so I could unsubscribe? Is that what you like me to do? Starfield's ahead of Baldur's Gate 3. Please unsub to those guys. I did not. I'm not subscribed. I'm not subscribed.
That make surprisingly drastic improvements to the gameplay experience. From the addition of the web wings to the sharp increase in swinging speed enabled by the PS5's SSD to the added emphasis placed on flashy abilities instead of gadgets. 2023 may have been a light year in terms of the first-party PlayStation releases, But if Sony was going to release only one major title the entire year, it couldn't have picked a better one than Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Okay. Top 2. Do we think Starfield is in the top 2? I mean, I said top 5, but I'm blown away by Baldur's Gate 3 at 4 and Spider-Man at 3. It could be. Rose says, nope. Yes, but it shouldn't. Number 1 is a 3-way tie. Oh, Dave Rose says, not there. Not there. Jones says 3-way tie for first. Oh, man. I don't understand the tie situation thing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It can't be on the number 1, Travis. It was on the worst list yesterday with the same people. Here we go.
Number 2,
Boom! Starfield, number 2. So Alan Wake's number 1, right? Alan Wake's got to be number 1.
Starfield. We'd be foolish not to acknowledge the fact that Starfield has proved to be quite a divisive game, and that for many it didn't exactly capture the Bethesda RPG magic that the studio's past games have been known for. There's merit to that sentiment for sure, but for our money, though Starfield is perhaps not what many wanted it to be, it's still an excellent game.
Guys are idiots and don't exist. Now you know how I feel.
One of the best we've played all year, in fact. It's a vast, limitless experience, offering up a galaxy that's teeming with a smattering of incredible content to dive into. Not only in terms of the optional content, which of course is something that Bethesda RPGs have always excelled at, but also with its main story, which hasn't necessarily been one of the studio's strong points in the past. Starfield creates a wonderfully realized world with
Well, Water's like, the day before is number 1. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
a strong sense of place, and it's entirely too easy to completely lose yourself in it, its history, its people, and their conflicts.
I mean, the day before wasn't on the worst list. I'm kidding. It wasn't even out. It wasn't even out.
On the game,
No. Resident Evil 4 was 14th? I think it was like 14th, Krebsy.
gameplay front around its core classic Bethesda RPG experience, which is elevated by layered and rewarding progression mechanics and surprisingly good combat, Starfield also offers entire game-sized systems that are entirely optional and ridiculously addictive, like being able to build your own ships, or surveying desolate planets, or building and managing your own outposts. With its sheer breadth of the content and the absolute freedom it affords to players, it's hard not to be impressed by Starfield's accomplishments. Gaming Bolt's Game of the Year 2023,
Alan Wake, there you go.
Alan Wake 2.
What the hell, Fortune?
How am I trolling?
Remedy Entertainment spent 13 years trying to get Alan Wake 2 off the ground, and after several failed attempts, the studio finally released the long-awaited sequel this year, turning the franchise into a full-blown survival horror experience. And as anyone who's played it would tell you, it's easy to see why Remedy had as much belief and confidence in the game as its vision as it did. It's fair to say that Remedy is one of the most visionary studios in the industry, and the level of creativity and uniqueness it constantly strives for is something we could stand to see more of from other developers. And
That was a weird cut they just did there, right? That was a weird cut. Like, he's running through the door, right?
constantly strives for is something
He runs through the door and they cut it. I don't know if they meant to do that, but they cut it right when the door opens, and then it cuts to the outside. It was kind of weird. I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't him.
the industry, and the level of creativity and uniqueness it constantly strives for is something we could stand to see more of from other developers. And no game it has ever made exemplifies that as convincing.
Starfield above Baldur's Gate 3, fuck the list. I mean, Alan Wake's above Baldur's Gate 3, so is that list fucked as well? I mean, you see what I'm saying? There was 3 games in front. Spider-Man, Starfield, and Alan Wake. Baldur's Gate 3, according to the So the Video Game Awards is the #1. So what's the difference?
Convincingly and unforgettable as Alan Wake 2 does. It's a bizarre singular game, offering something that you are unlikely to find anywhere else in the entire medium. A perfect crossroads of artistic design, technical excellence, gameplay ingenuity.
Jones is like, my #1 game is Skyrim re-release 2023 microtransaction edition.
And narrative brilliance. In everything it does, Alan Wake 2 leaves absolutely no stone unturned, and from its tiniest flourishes to its most grandiose ideas, it never ever loses sight of its artistic vision. Very rarely have we played games that does horror this engaging, that delivers it.
No, dude, they can't agree. They can't agree. That's why I said before we even watched it, I was like, this is just their opinions. Just their opinions. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe nothing can beat it.
So expertly, that look as stunning and different as it does, that craft a survival horror experience as compelling, horrifying, and unsettling as this one. Alan Wake 2 is an absolute unabashed masterpiece. There are no two ways about it. In a year that's going to go down as one of the best we've ever seen in gaming, in a year that's seen the kind of games we've spoken about throughout the course.
Yeah, Forspoken wasn't on the list. Good part is, Forspoken wasn't on the worst list either yesterday by them.
Of this feature, even in such a year, Alan Wake 2 stands out as the single most breathtaking and awe-inspiring game we've played. That, more than anything else, should tell you just how unbelievably spectacular.
Now I want a list from them that's the games that were in between the worst games and the best games. Just the mediocre games.
It is. And with that, we reach the end of this video.
Forspoken ain't bad. No, it's not. It's not terrible. It wasn't on the worst list, but it's not good either. It's not on the great list.
Anything to say?
Yeah. Wasn't. I mean, if Santa Claus was making a list, it would probably get it would probably get a good one, right? Liza P was on the list, Krebsy. Liza P was on the list. I think it was 20. The hell was it? It was tied for something, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 15.
In popularity,
We're tied for 15 and 14, whatever it was.
Have attempted to capture over the last decade. The explosion in
Liza P 16.
like genre
16.
over the last decade.
Yeah, that dude, he earned it, right? Todd should send him a canvas bag for sure, or at least a nylon one. Right. Yeah, Travis, nice one. It would be a nylon. Yeah, it would be a nylon one. Yeah, I think that was an alright list. It subverted my expectations. I was surprised. I thought for sure Baldur's Gate 3 would be like 1 or 2. Then I saw 4 and I was like, whoa. Expectations subverted. I truly didn't. When I saw 5, and we didn't see Starfield yet, and then I was like 4, I was like, no. It was really the Baldur's Gate 3 that threw me for a loop, right? I was like, all right, top 5, and then 4, and then I was just like, what? Here's my games, right? Here's the games that I thought. This is the games I really enjoyed this year, right? Hi-Fi Rush, Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, in no particular order. These are just the games I played that I enjoyed. Hi-Fi Rush, Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, Diablo 4, Starfield, RoboQuest, Starship Troopers. I'm enjoying Lego Fortnite. Disney Speedstorm, which I thought was a fun little racing game. RoboCop, I enjoyed. No Man's Sky, went back and enjoyed it. Dead Island, little asterisk there that I have. Okay, there's a game called Trailmakers, but it didn't come out this year. Battlefield 2042, I had a fun time this year. Minecraft Legends I thought was good. Baldur's Gate 3, Lord of the Rings Return of Moria, The First Descendant, and BattleBit Remasters. Those are the games that I really like. Was like, now, I think my top 3 this year, okay, without finishing, okay, because if I didn't finish it, it won't be on the list. Baldur's Gate 3, for me, I haven't come anywhere close to playing it enough, okay, but I do think it's a phenomenal game. But the games that I finished, like completed, Starfield, I didn't complete the main story, but I did a lot of stuff, so I don't know if I could add it to the list. But Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, Diablo 4, RoboCop. That's it. 4 main games that because the rest of them are like live service type of stuff. So out of Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, Diablo 4, and RoboCop, Hogwarts or Jedi Survivor, I really liked Hogwarts. Jedi Survivor was fantastic, though. I'm going to have to go with Jedi Survivor. It's close, though. Jedi Survivor to me was just another Fallen Order, which I loved. But Hogwarts to me really surprised me. Now, I can't put Starfield on the list because I didn't finish it. RoboQuest, I didn't finish it. I guess No Man's Sky, I finished it, but I didn't do the new update. Battlefield, you can't finish. Continuously going. I haven't finished Lord of the Rings Return of Moria yet. I had a lot of fun with BattleBit Remaster for that week and a half, 2 weeks that we played. I really enjoyed The First Descendant. Just give a tie for both? Yeah, we'll tie it, just like they did. Is there a survival game with amazing combat? Amazing combat? Is there an end to Moria? Yeah, you get to Moria. Yeah, the ending is getting to Moria. It's in the title. I don't think there is a killer survival game. Well, we're in Moria. Yeah, but you're returning to it and you're trying to flush it out, right? You're trying to get everything that's in your home out. You're trying to get your home. You're trying to take back your home. A killer survival game is the game of life. It's the friends that you made along the way. Here's why I'm done with. Here's why I'm done in one picture of why I'm done with Call of Duty. I've been done with Call of Duty for years. And I get it's a video game. You guys are supposed to have fun. But I don't play Call of Duty to do this. I don't play Call of Duty to throw snowballs. Call of Duty Warzone holiday event includes deadly snowball fights. Killer zombie Santa. I'm good. I can't get into Once Human, Robert. I'm watching people play it. It looks fantastic. I'm interested in it. But I can't get in. I guarantee I'll get in this weekend when I'm not here. A little holiday event ain't bad. Just, that's not why I play it. I even hate that they added fucking Santa Claus and stuff inside of Battlefield. Not why I play it. You want to add that stuff into Fortnite and stuff like that? Cool. Oh, these are the pictures I wanted to show earlier with the other topic we're talking about with Sony stuff, right? This will be the last thing we show, and then we'll be done, right? So the industry's major shift of threats, okay? This is from Insomniac. Okay, this is the leaked documents or whatever, right? Call of Duty threats in 2027. Microsoft acquisition from Activision for $69 billion could disrupt the threaten the console gaming subscription market. Okay, we read this in an article before, but it says console shift from PlayStation to Xbox with timing and in-game differential as the weapons. Subscription, Microsoft comprehensive ecosystem coupled with exclusive creators' greater dominance. Sony impact, massive threat to PlayStation Plus, upwards to $1.5 billion annual revenue, a threat gap to fill. 45 million subs times 12 monthly times 12 months times 20%, multiplayer third party. Okay. Day and date threat, post-acquisition, Microsoft will put ATVI games on Game Pass day and date. Leapfrog, okay. ATVI provides incredible strategy value across live service games, scale in mobile and PC storefronts. Battle.net. Microsoft can supply multi-game subscription 50%, console games 50%, and PC games 60%. Sony pillars are already dated and behind the competition. Sony's impact need to expand. Okay. Elusive perfect game subscription. Premium content expectations of free best-in-class games create unsustainable model. Monthly and incremental subs won't cover investment. Unified mobile PC console experience doesn't exist. Form factor and computer power are too diverse. And Sony Impact premium sales model is a central approach. Okay. The other part of it says Microsoft acquisition of ATI positions it to leapfrog our current pillars. ATVI provides incredible strategy values across live service games, scaled to mobile and PC storefront. In addition, Microsoft is building a mobile gaming store to compete with Apple and Google. So, I went 240 and 0 in Xbox Live match playing Black Hawk Down. People played like Call of Duty. Thank you, Call of Duty players. I play multiplayer games like Delta Force with bullet physics, and it's also get shot once and you're dead. Call of Duty ain't that. Right. I used to play hardcore mode on Battlefield servers, dude, back in the day, and I loved it. Because you play different, you play completely different when you know one shot, one kill. You know what I mean? Where people that play Call of Duty, they run around with their head chopped off. And even in Battlefield, when you're not playing in a hardcore server, everyone runs around. They don't try to get cover. They don't try to sneak. Battle play is slower. It completely changes the whole entire game. Okay? I love, and there was like, no one complains when you play hardcore that snipers are killing you, right? Everyone's a sniper, or you're moving around trying to get position and then take out a couple of people, right? There's no kill cam. Okay, so you don't know where you're getting shot from. So if you can get a spot that's primo, then you're gonna own, which then protects your team that can move up because you can see what's going on. It completely changes the strategy of the entire game. Completely changes it. But it doesn't need to be hardcore for Sniper's Paradise. Hardcore is hardcore because even if you're an assault guy moving around and then all of a sudden a sniper takes a shot and misses, right? It's a completely different thing because no one's just running around in the middle of a field. No one does that in real life. right? You move up slowly, right? It's a much slower combat type game, and it's so good. Hence why Hell Let Loose is such a good game, right? That's a headshot kill, man. You don't get a kill cam in Hell Let Loose. I don't play Battlefield. Doesn't have a mode like kill confirmed. You hear a ding or whatever when there's a moment when you'll hear a sound when you kill someone in Battlefield 3. In Hell Let Loose, you also hear like a headshot and a body shot's like a thud compared to a ding like off the helmet, right? But in hardcore, there's no kill cam. If someone kills you and they're right next to you standing in a bush and you don't see them, you die, you don't know they're in a bush right behind you. Unless you pay attention, you're like, well, that sound came to the left of me when I died. Where are they coming from? Was it loud? Was it soft? Right? I miss when people play that way, man. Completely different experience. I miss Battlefield now. Yeah, did you ever play, Jones? Did you ever play Hell Let Loose? It's a much slower gameplay. I don't know if you like modern more than World War II and stuff like that. It's an excellent game. Excellent game. Too intense. You know what that means? It means they didn't have a kill cam. They didn't know where they were getting shot from. That's why it's intense. Exactly what that means. A mode where let's say you kill someone, you got to pick up what they drop to confirm it. No, isn't that like a Tarkov type of game, Travis? That's not what Hell Let Loose is. I think it was about the coordination. Well, yeah. You mean war. you mean war. Call of Duty is a bunch of kids with Nerf guns or water guns on a playground field running around. Battlefield's a mixture of that, but just larger scale battle. Right? Hell Let Loose is a battle simulator. You know how they play, right? Come on. When you give 20 kids water guns in a field, you're like, okay, go. They're like, rah! And they run at each other. They go up each other's face and they do all that, right? That's exactly how people play Call of Duty. Starship Troopers is fun, but definitely not a strategic. Well, strategic in a different way, but exactly. You're dead, man. No, I'm not, man. I have the Call of Duty shield on. All right. Reminder. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a conversation with the Kingard. We're going to interview him, get to know him, get to, talk, chit-chat some video games and whatnot with him. And then after that, we'll just have a regular stream afterwards. If you come live, it'll just be a all-included. Like, come live, watch the interview, and then we'll go into some gameplay afterwards. And then after the fact, if you don't want to watch that, I'll have a breakout video of just the interview itself. So we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you very much for hanging out with us and watching. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, I do appreciate you very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It'd be a miracle because we only have like a week and a half left. So you are already subscribed. So if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I'll see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.